Good evening, afternoon,
Hello, good evening.
morning,
How are you?
wherever
Morning.
wherever
A
we
bit,
are in the world, or wherever we are
bit both.
listening to it. You know, it's we're a global world these days, aren't we?
Global world. Yeah,
I know that's sort of an oxymoron, that a little bit, isn't it?
the
Um,
global globe.
yeah, global globe. Well, you never. Well, the thing is, you never used to be. I mean, if you
Well,
read, well,
we
obviously
were
we've always been a globe, obviously, yes,
an
but
oblate spheroid.
you'd never get news from different parts of the world because you just wouldn't get them, so you wouldn't know about things, would you?
Not for months. Yeah. No, you just things. You didn't have like a news feed, or if it was like 6 months ago, something interesting happened. Right. Okay.
Well, it's funny because they say that neighborhoods now are more dangerous than people than they used to be, but studies have shown that actually they're likely less dangerous than they used to be. But they think it's because of this whole sort of 24/7 news cycle where you hear about, obviously, the thing down the road that you ordinarily might not have heard about before. So the
Oh yeah, I agree
perception,
with
it's
that.
the perception of danger that has changed. So people think
It's
that it's more, because obviously
it's too
kids,
many here, but yeah,
but I mean kids,
def
kids when I was young would, you'd be out before, as soon as you came in from school. If it was sunny, there was no way you could play on the
Oh yeah,
computer.
I
There
used
was
to
no playing
cycle to
games.
school, and that was I don't know, 5 miles or something.
Oh, you've no chance these days. You've no chance.
Yeah. If you wanted to go and see your friends, sometimes in the next village, which is like 3 miles away. But I mean, it was quite a rural area. But even then, you didn't hear so much stuff,
No, no, and
so
I
it didn't
think
sound as scary. Whereas, if all the news was, if people enjoyed listening to good news, and the news was just loads of like, oh, this really nice thing happened. Oh, this really nice thing happened. Then people would be like, oh, the world is such a wonderful place now. It's like, yeah, we're just not hearing all the horrible stuff that's happening. But that doesn't sell newspapers.
no, bad
Horrible
news
stuff
sells.
sells news. Yeah.
Bad news
So
sells.
so that's what you hear about.
I mean, I remember when you get home from school and it'd be right, be home before either sunset or 5 o'clock, or be home for tea. That was the sort of thing.
It's either tea or before it got dark.
Yeah,
And before it got dark was only because probably you were walking or cycling.
yeah, exactly. But I remember walking to primary school on my own,
Yeah.
and primary school
Yeah. That's
is
where I had
what?
to cycle to. Sometimes my primary school.
I mean, obviously not at like 4 in reception, but year, I don't know, 4, year 3, year 4 onwards,
I
sort
don't
of.
even know what age that is.
I don't know, maybe 9, 8, 9, 10.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was,
Definitely.
it was, and it was funny because I read an article today from America, obviously. No wonder. And this woman had been charged, this mother had been charged for like child endangerment for letting her child walk to school. And the child lived maybe, I don't know, a mile or so away. And all I could think was, this is crazy. Like, what are we doing? Like, kids. It's a different culture, though. It's a different culture. It's a different environment. Obviously, I know that, and obviously, I can't say that. Well, obviously, I know all the details of the case, but it just seems so ludicrous to charge someone for a child walking to school, and it wasn't even a particularly dangerous neighborhood. That was the other thing. It was just the child's on their own. The traffic cop drove past, saw the child on their own, and was like, "Oh, this is wrong." But
But that's kind of in a way proof that it is safer nowadays, because in the past they wouldn't have done anything.
no, and that's the thing. I mean, you would
And
never
could you
hear
imagine
about.
how dangerous it would be for anyone wandering around 200 years ago in the streets?
Oh, you'd be
I can't imagine that would be particularly safe.
no, nowhere near, nowhere near. I mean, if you think about, people talk about, oh, we would leave our doors open or would leave our doors unlocked. Obviously not open because that's a little too inviting, but they were
And,
unlocked.
and English weather.
and English weather. Oh, we wouldn't even need to lock our doors. It's like, yeah, but that's because you didn't know about the amount of burglaries that were in the next street. But
Yeah,
if you had known
did
about them, you would have locked your doors.
it. More than likely.
Like
Yeah.
it's less about,
And I think
oh,
more people get caught nowadays, so we're more aware of it. I imagine in the past there's a lot more people getting away with a lot more things that were never found out.
I mean, you've got security systems. Everyone has a camera now in their pocket. So that's the thing you've noticed when something happens, there's someone filming it on their phone.
Unless
Always.
it's a UFO, and then it's really bad quality.
For some reason, yeah, that always goes a bit fuzzy, doesn't it?
The power of UFOs.
But if you look at something
Has
like,
to make things fuzzy.
but I mean, if you look at something like YouTube, people always say that YouTube's the best time machine because you've got videos of things from 20 to 30 years ago. Because now everything can be filmed, everything can be filmed. So
Yeah.
you've got videos of even some crazy old stuff like London in like the 1910s and 1920s, and it's like a different world, isn't it? It's like a different world.
Yeah,
It's
I like
crazy
some
to
of
think about.
those videos where they're sort of from 100 and so years, right at the beginning of sort of video recording, and they've used an AI to touch them up and colorize them and stuff. Some of those are really weird.
I love those ones. I love
Yeah,
those
they're
ones.
quite cool to watch.
I love as well when an AI's made it and then they show the actual original and they see how close the AI got, and then sometimes they'll colour like the coat the wrong colour. It'll be like purple instead of orange or whatever. But I always think they're really
Or
clever.
stupid AI.
I know. It's just ridiculous. They're quite common in sort of war images as well. Sort of like RAF uniforms. Sort of when you know what people would have been wearing and what colours they would have been, you can sort of feed that to the machine. So they tend to pick things where it is uniforms because you know what the colour of the uniform would have been, you know what this would have been, and you can tell that to the machine. The machine will
You still got
give
the
you that.
uniform, so you can say, "Hey, this should be this color." Yeah. That's true.
So that works, and those are always those are always great. But I mean, YouTube is one of those things. I mean, it's the end of the year, and I'm finally back fully. I've had a full year again on YouTube,
Yeah,
and
it's been a year now.
finally got monetized, which took a long time. Took a long time, especially when the criteria is really quite steep when you think about it. I mean, you need 4,000 public watch hours in the last 6 months. No, in the last year.
If you don't get them, I mean, you've got them now, but what happens if you don't get them 1 month? Is it like, oh, you didn't get them, you didn't get enough this month, you're demonetized again?
If you fall under the 4,000 within the 12 months, yeah, they demonetize you.
Well, you've got a whole year to get 4,000 views.
Yes, 4,000 watch hours, 4,000 public watch hours. So if you have
in a year, that's okay. That's not bad. I was thinking it was like you had to get that much every month or something. It's like, God, you're going to get monetized, demonetized, monetized, demonetized, monetized, demonetized until your channel gets big enough.
But if you think about it, that's still what, 20 hours a day? No. Yeah, if you think you have to hit 400 hours a month. So on average, I would say between 350 and 400 public watch hours a month. So if you do see, public calculator.
You tried to do maths.
You need about 13 to 14 hours.
Try to do live maths.
Yeah, 13 to 14 hours. I actually used a pocket calculator that was on my phone, which we just talked about. So they're useful, as we say. Which sort of goes back to how teachers were wrong about having, you want to always have a calculator in your pocket. Little did they know.
Well, I have to say, there's quite often I don't have my phone in my pocket.
Really? I've got mine on in almost perpetuity on me.
Oh,
I know.
No, people might phone me.
Yeah, I suppose that's the downside of having your phone on you, is that people might use it to speak to you.
In my phone, my sort of home phone, I have 3 contact phone numbers.
Right.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And that's the phone I use where I live now. I've got my wife's number and my mother and father-in-law, and those two are only for emergencies.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Although I do speak to my mum, but I use things like WeChat to speak to my mum. So
I do think that the phone, by its nature, is quite a rude thing, though, isn't it? I remember a QI skit where Stephen Fry goes, "Speak to me now, speak to me now. I will make a noise until you speak to me." That's sort of
shouting in your pocket. Yeah, speak to me, speak to me, speak to me now, speak to me.
Speak to me. I will make a noise until you speak
how
to
I
me.
feel
Yes,
about them.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't host QI anymore.
People say, "Oh, can I have your phone number?" No.
No, you can't. Why? You might speak to me.
Many companies, many companies ask. They get my old phone.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
Like, yeah, you phone me if you want. Send me stuff if you want. Yeah.
I'll reply.
It's an English phone number, and I'm in China, so it's going to cost you like £2 a minute, if not more.
Yep. God. Where was I? Oh yes, YouTube hours. So you need about 14 hours a month. No, 14 hours a day to hit 4,000 in a year.
Yeah, but I thought it was a month. I mean that seems a lot still. 14
hours every day to make 4,000 hours a year.
The thing that gets me, if you're just getting bigger, there's got to be a chance. There's got to be a time where it goes above and then below and then above and then below. And then
yeah, if you have a really good month, so say you have a really good month of 600 hours, it's amazing, and then you have a few 200 hours, you're doing fine until that 1 month ticks out of that 12-month range, and then suddenly, actually, you're not over 4,000 anymore.
And then you drop it back down again. Yeah. I suppose it's all done by a computer though, so it's not like there's a person. Computer just goes too few, but I don't know. Odd.
It's true though. They can't
monetize you, and then you stop uploading videos, and then you've got like no views a day, and yet you're still monetized.
That's true. That's true.
I wouldn't want to organize it.
I mean, I've gotten. It's funny because I read all these things, obviously trying to get monetized, thinking, is it going to boost my channel? Is it going to do all these things? And obviously, I've been a year back, and I got a little sticker in the YouTube studio. So you know how you know how you hit milestones, and YouTube will tell you what milestones you've hit, and they'll say you've hit 100,000 views, or you've hit 50,000 views, or you've hit whatever. It pops up and it went, you've hit 10,000 watch hours. And I thought, really? That's amazing. Went on it and it was lifetime. So pointless to me. Pointless, because it was, 6 or 7 years ago when I actually was doing
it included all your views from years ago.
So it was pointless. So I quite angrily
or if you had
off
one video that went viral for some unknown reason, you had 100 videos and 99 of them had 3 views, and then some reason one of them got like 100,000 views.
But it won't tell you why. It won't tell you why.
I mean, they must do as much as they can to help people, because they must make a fortune. Well, I can't say for doing nothing, because obviously they've got to keep all the infrastructure and everything working, so they're not obviously doing nothing, but they get money.
Yeah, and since being monetized, I've noticed that, I don't know if it's just a coincidence or everyone's looking at it more, but I've noticed that videos get pushed more. And YouTube's always told me from research that doesn't happen, that they don't do that. We don't push monetized videos more than non-monetized videos. But I think it's absolute nonsense, because mine have been pushed more already than.
Do you think they're getting pushed more, or do you think it's just coincidence? Could be your views are going up, more people are finding you.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Pushed by the views rather than the fact you're monetized.
It's a good question. It is a good question. Or it's the algorithm going, we need to push suitable content. This content is obviously suitable because it's monetized, and therefore will have passed certain checks that others won't have, such as profanity and all these different things. And maybe the algorithm, by its very nature, pushes monetized videos because they're more suitable, and maybe it's that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not going to try and work it out.
Well, it's ridiculous
Which is
because
why I've only got 500 subscribers.
well, having said that though, you've now got 512, 500 and something.
Oh, it's definitely ticking up very slowly.
It's ticking up faster now than it was before. I think we can. I mean, you've been on sort of that sort of sticking point for ages.
Oh, it was at 480 for ages, and then I released like the 100 odd tutorial videos on Minecraft command blocks.
And now you're, climbing up quite sort of consistently. At least 2 to 3 a week, if not more. So
yeah, it ticks up a little bit.
It's definitely doing something. But I think that as a whole, YouTube is one of those things where if you can do well, I mean, it tells me what sort of my money per 1,000 views is. So per 1,000 views, I make $2, which isn't bad. Isn't bad at all.
Yeah, that seems all right. What have you got?
So per million, it's $2,000.
Yeah.
Which
it worked out so 40k would be 80 quid.
Yeah.
And 40k, it doesn't seem like a crazy amount of views. I mean, if one of my videos got 40k, I'd be like, whoa.
Yeah, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it? But it's funny because I looked at that and thought, people who are getting 1 million views a day, my goodness, you must be on a lot of money. Like, you must be making bank from YouTube if you're making 1 million views a day. $2,000 a day. $2,000 a day. Imagine that.
I'm trying to think of big YouTubers people might know, but for Minecraft, I suppose people like Grian and Mumbo Jumbo who get like 8 million views a video.
Yeah, it's just
like £16,000 for a video.
Yeah, it's just unfathomable, isn't it? Unfathomable.
Yeah.
When you're at
that
stage,
minimum of 1 or 2 a week.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but it's funny because it's one of those things where once you know how to make money, it's very easy to make more of it, and once you have money, it's even easier to make more of it. Like, for example, Warren Buffett, right? The old guy who does stocks and like hedge funds and
I know. Yeah,
he made last year in dividends alone from Coca-Cola about 792 million just from dividends. Bear in mind, he owns about 10 billion worth of stock, so he owns a huge, enormous chunk of it. But he makes 792 million just from dividends. He doesn't do that. That's just passive income. Doesn't do anything. He just sits there and gets 792 million a year, just from Coke, and that's not even including any of the other sort of stocks and shares he has.
It surprises me that people like that aren't. I mean, I don't know how much he's donating, but it does surprise me that he's not donating. What would you do with 792 million a year?
It's crazy to think about, isn't it? People always say, "Oh, well, if you had that money, you'd find ways to spend it," and I'm like, "Come, what on?
I wouldn't.
Are you crazy? Are you crazy?
Like 792 million. I mean, what am I going to start buying? Am I going to start buying everything I can find? Or I'm going to buy Google? Okay, fair enough. Then you might be able to spend it.
Like, yeah, but what? Like 80 million a month, 70 million a month.
I know. Well, no, it's not that, because you've got 792 million. What's the interest on that?
Well, that's another thing. So you're looking at about 8% interest. So 8%, so you're looking at what, another 80 million on that? Just an interest on that?
I couldn't even spend the interest.
Like, it's just what? You just go on, I don't know, any of these sort of real estate websites and just buy everything you see. Like, you just own every house in the country at that point. Like,
it's just ridiculous.
It's just unfathomable. And it's funny because I watched Markiplier do one of these podcasts, and he's talking about how much he makes. He makes 38 million a year. He made 38 million last year, or the year before. I can't remember, obviously, which it was either last year or the year before. He made 38 million, and it's like, and he's asked, what do you do with this? And he's like, I can't spend it. He's fully self-aware that he makes a stupid amount of money. from YouTube, like unbelievably stupid amounts of money.
Oh,
But
crazy,
but it's nice to have that little bit of sort of self-awareness and see that, because normally you get people who make stupid amounts of money and just don't know what to do with it. They buy ridiculous things, and it's just, what are you doing? But I mean, come on, 30. Just give me 10%, 5%, 1% of that a year. 380 grand a year.
Yeah.
380 grand a year. Like,
that'd be insane.
you're already in the 1% at that point. Like, just crazy to think about. Crazy.
It'd be nice.
But I mean, how did you get into YouTube? What did you start with? Because obviously, I think I've spoken about this before, but I started with the ChillCast. That was my big one.
Oh, I don't know. I think it probably was. I remember. I think it was probably something like is Zoom Avoid tutorials. It was probably this tutorial.
Is that all?
It's like, I want to find out information on how to do something.
It was a how-to.
Yeah, it would have been how-to things, and then I would have watched those, and then since it's open, it would have been, I'll watch that video. Oh, I'll watch that video, and now basically YouTube is pretty much all I watch.
Yes. It's although I will admit the ad frequency has become rather obnoxious if you don't have an ad blocker.
I tend to not use an ad blocker, just the main reason being I don't mind if I have to watch 5 or 10 seconds. I mean, if you've got an ad blocker, does it affect the person's video?
Yes.
Because then you're not seeing an ad, are you? So they're not being displayed an ad.
Correct.
So I tend to, sometimes I'll even watch an ad, if it's a short ad.
It's funny because you're totally opposite to me. I have ad blockers on everything, which is obviously ironic considering I'm monetized and would like people to not use it on my own content. But at the same time, I have a PlayStation, and the PlayStation is impossible to have an ad blocker on, obviously, because it's not a browser, so you can't add things. So the PlayStation, therefore, I don't know if it's a thing, but I feel that it gets more ads than normal. Because on a regular, say, 8-minute video, I might have 6 ad breaks or and that is, for me, it just seems like unbelievably obnoxious. Obnoxious.
That's a huge amount.
It's unbelievable. Every break, every sort of black screen, it auto-generates an ad. And it's like, what on earth is going on? I've just had an ad 30 seconds ago. What are you doing? And then,
that seems a bit crazy.
And then it goes, would you like to buy YouTube Premium? Obviously, because it just chokes you with the ads.
Yeah, that annoys me.
And then
I don't want to.
and it goes, do you want to try YouTube Premium? All these ads are really annoying, aren't they? Would you like to try YouTube Premium? Like, just ridiculous. And it's one of those. The reason I asked because I did a poll on the community tab, and I think it showed the age of my sort of viewers as well as me, because everyone sort of went Stampy. If you remember Stampy. Yeah. I remember Stampy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dan TDM, Diamond Minecart. I think I remember him.
With Mr. Treosaurus.
I don't remember Mr. Treosaurus.
He was like his villager, his retextured villager buddy who just used to walk around. So it was someone that he could interact with.
Ah, like an NPC.
Yeah, and he'd just be like retextured villager. As far as I remember, I've only seen like one video or something. And he would walk around and he'd be like, "Oh, hello, Dr. Treosaurus, how are you today?" Just make it a bit more interesting than just talking to yourself.
Well, that's exactly what the ChillCast did, didn't they? They made a whole story. Well,
they just went a bit crazy.
But obviously, there was a time when I genuinely believed that was part of the game, because I didn't.
I see so many people saying that, and it's just like, why?
I don't know. I don't know. It was the first time I had seen.
I thought all the players were NPCs. It's like it would be amazing if that interaction was an NPC. This game would be phenomenal. It'd be the most well-known game in the world if it had AI that could do what they're. You talk into your microphone. "Oh, hello, Lysander Skyflight Master. How are you?" "Oh, I'm doing very well, thanks, Honeydew." It's just like Minecraft would just come out with the most amazing AI ever in the world that can react like human beings, and no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
Everyone's just going, "Oh, it must be real." It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. I was unfortunately one of those. I don't know why. I can't give you a reason. I can't give you a reason. But I genuinely was like, this is
how old were you then? Were
amazing.
you like 4?
No, ooh, come on. I was like, I don't know, 16-ish, maybe.
Oh my god!
I know, it's bad.
Like you were 16 and you thought,
I know. Your faith in me has dwindled, I've noticed.
I just, the first time I saw it, and they're walking along, and someone comes out and talks to them. My first assumption was, "Oh, there's another player."
Yeah, I didn't think that. I thought, oh my god, this NPC is so clever. This is fantastic. This game is amazing. But then, of course, they stopped. They stopped making Shadow of Fell. And
well, I should imagine the reason being is the production behind it would have been insane.
Just outweighed the actual outcome.
Someone would have had to make all the builds, make all the maps, make all the storyline. You'd have to have all the players together at the same time to be able to record. You'd have to make sure everything's working, all sound levels. Just setting up for one episode, which must have been an absolute nightmare. And then if they're not getting the views back, it's just like, Jesus, we're doing a lot of work.
Yeah,
we could just record, a 20-minute episode of GTA. We could do a GTA session, whack out 8 episodes instantly with no planning.
but
you don't need to make anything. You don't need to plan anything.
But it's just not the same, though, is it? It's not the same.
It's not the same, but just sort of, I reckon if they'd carried on doing Shadow of Israel, they would still be going.
I see the point, but at the same time, I think that having an actual end to it would still be better.
Now I do agree. It would have been nice to have seen sort of a wrap up, a story end, but
a wrap up, maybe a world download, job done.
I mean, just look at the random Survival Island storylines that we come up with.
Oh, they're like they're on crack.
How are you going to tie that together?
Yeah,
so it all ends cleanly.
Like it's just unbelievable. But I do think that sort of content, that sort of storytelling, was all the rage, and now it seems like, it feels like YouTube goes through seasons. Like, sometimes 10-minute videos are the really popular, sort of short and snappy, and then it's like, tutorials, and then it's like, okay, well, this is a really long, like 40-50 minute video, and you see all of them, and now it's like, well, you don't really know what's popular, because again, the algorithm doesn't tell you anything, because the algorithm's the algorithm, and it'll push a random, like it's like I told you the other day, I did the Escape House, or Just Another Escape House, whatever it was called. And the algorithm decided, bear in mind, they all have the same description, they all have the same title, and they all have the same thumbnail. Obviously, slight variations like episode 1, episode 2, whatever. And YouTube decides, out of nowhere, I'm going to push episode 2. Not episode 1, which would be the logical thing to do. Push the episode.
Oh, yeah,
the first
you
episode.
mentioned this.
Yeah, the logical thing to do would push episode 1, and then from episode 1 you get, therefore, the sort of progression to watch the other 2 episodes, because they're episode 2 and 3. But YouTube goes, no, we're going to push episode 2, and only episode 2, no other episodes. So I'm thinking, firstly, why is this happening? Why are you pushing number 2 instead of the other 3? Like it's just crazy. And YouTube won't tell me anything. It'll just tell me, well, this has got this many clicks today, this has got this many views today. And it's like, well, I need some feedback. I need some, like, why did you pick this 2? Was number 2 like, a better length of time? Because it was only like under 20 minutes or whatever it was. Like, what's just,
Well, yeah, what do you like about episode 2, Mr. AI? Tell me.
It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. And I think it's one of those things where the majority, I reckon, is luck. It's got to be luck. It's got to be, what does the algorithm want at this random time of day? You know, what are people watching? And you'll get lucky with a video from 2 years ago that goes viral, and then that's your big break. It feels like that's the way to do it, and it's very frustrating, especially when you put in all the hours of researching descriptions, researching tags, researching what sort of length of title do I need, and you push it out, and then someone's like no effort video with 2 minutes is on the front page with 5 million views.
That's frustrating.
And it's like, why is this getting this many, and I'm getting 10?
Yeah, that's frustrating. You can make a well-researched, and I see some videos that randomly pop up, and I think I'll watch that, and I go, wow, that was well-researched, it was well done, blah 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 blah, and it's got like 1 view.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously it's got more than 1. And then there's another video which is just like, it's me and my friends, and we climbed this tree. Oh, it's the best tree in the world, man. And the video's like 3 minutes long, and it's like got
it's like
4
million
views.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah. It's just, it doesn't make
So
sense.
I think length is probably one thing. People probably like shorter
attention spans, isn't it? That's what it is.
I think that's a definite, and that's why something like TikTok, I think, was so popular. Because you don't need a brain to watch it.
I think you forfeit it as soon as you open the app.
I've never done it.
Oh, don't. I don't. It. Just don't, because it learns incredibly quickly what you like to see. And I was shocked. Then,
I've still seen TikTok videos because YouTube. There's people on YouTube who have stick up videos saying the best of TikTok. It's like, go away.
Yep. You can't escape it, can you? You can't escape it. It's impossible. It's impossible. But it is Christmas, though.
Quite frustrating as well, where someone else has just gone, I'm going to get clips from other people.
Oh, yeah, and they offer no value at all. All they've done is just actually collect it all. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. Absolutely hate it. It's just like you haven't actually contributed at all to this. You've just put them all in one spot. And oftentimes, those compilations will get more views as a whole than the actual individual clips. Than the actual creators who actually, put them out. And that's even more frustrating.
Yeah, then I feel really sorry for the originals. Especially if they're not linking back to them as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes they'll even crop out the usernames or the watermarks, so you can't even trace them. It's to be honest, it's really quite shady. Almost copyright, I would say.
Oh well, you are. Yeah, you're taking other people's stuff.
Yeah, I would argue that. Well, it's funny because now, obviously, since joining being monetized, I get a personal person at YouTube.
Personal person.
Yeah, a personal person. So because I'm part of the partner program, now I have an actual contact at YouTube. So if I actually have any problems, I can reach out to an actual human rather than scouring Google for, a contact email or a contact number that isn't ever, manned. But now I have an actual individual, a real person that I can reach out to and say, well, hang on, I'm having trouble with this, I'm having trouble with that. And I can speak to them. It's really cool. It does feel a bit like I'm a bit, treated differently, but I guess I am treated differently because I'm monetized. So I actually make money for them. So at the same time, it's a double-edged sword.
That's a business thing. I mean, if you're running a business, you obviously want to stay afloat. And if you've got 2 people and one of them, and they both have the same problem, you are going to prioritize the one
who makes you money,
that's helping the business. You don't really have much choice.
No, I suppose. It does. I think part of me is just bitter from being non-monetized for so long and having a problem at YouTube, and not being able to deal with that problem because there was no one I could speak to.
And
So,
I noticed we do live in a world now where many more people expect to get something for free.
yep.
It's
Yep.
like, oh, it's on a computer. Why can't I have it for free? Huh?
Well, that's not quite how that works.
Well, yeah, I mean, oh, but it's just a piece of software. I find that with copies of Minecraft.
Yes, yes. And obviously having run a server for a year now, we've had this server. I mean, what?
Yeah.
I'll
Well, you've had it like longer, I think, haven't you?
I started it last December for Christmas.
Last Christmas, I gave you a server.
And the very next day, it was griefed. So,
Minecraft.
oh, it was so funny though because I remember finally getting in touch with you again, and you joining and being like, "Do you have this plugin? No. Do you have this plugin? No. Do you have this quite important plugin? No.
I don't think you had any grief protection, did you?
None whatsoever. None whatsoever. And I remember you joining and just saying, "Well, this is unsustainable. This isn't change. We're changing all of this. Nope, completely changing it all."
You've got no grief protection. You've got no
Logging. Rollback or logging or anything at all.
You cannot mod a server. You cannot mod a server with nothing.
It was just it was horrific. But I only had it for about a month before you were back, which is good. Thankfully, because otherwise, if it lasted any longer, it would just been chaos, wouldn't it? Utter chaos.
Oh, it'd just be a nightmare because someone would just say, "Hey, this was stolen" or "This was broken," and you just wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
Well, that's exactly what happened. I had one guy, what a child really. I had one child who said, "Oh, I died and I lost all this stuff that I'd worked really, 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 really hard, and I'm not going to play the server if I don't get it back." And obviously, I was young, and I was like, when I was young, it was last year. I was inexperienced, let's say, and I was like, "Oh, well, I still want them to play the server." So they were like, "Oh yeah, this is what I had," but I had no way of obviously verifying it.
No, and you'll get that reaction. I see that all the time.
Yep.
Oh no, this happened. And then they say either I'm not coming back for 6 months, I'm not coming back for a year, I'm never coming back again. And you go, okay. And then 2 days later, hi everyone, how you all doing? Yeah, no, I'm gonna. It's like blah blah blah. It's like, I thought you weren't coming back.
Mm.
Oh yeah, no, and they're just saying it because they're angry at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think...
I mean, at first I used to do the same. Oh, let's see what we can do. I'll give you a hand. And now when people say, "Oh, I'm not coming back ever again because I lost my diamond armor," and it took me days to get this diamond armor. I lost it, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. Now it's a case of zero tolerance. Just sort of, you don't do it for anybody. Don't do it for anybody. No special treatment. Everyone's the same.
Well, just ask for help. I mean, diamond armor is free.
Yeah, that as well.
Don't spend 5 days collecting the diamonds. Spend 5 days, or spend 2 hours getting armorers, and then you've got all the diamond armor you'll ever need forever for free. Oh no, I've lost my diamond armor. Oh no, it took me 5 minutes to get it back.
Instant.
I'm never coming back. I hate this server. It's shit. It's the same game on every server, pretty much. You know. It's like, well, take care. See you. Bye.
God. But I think I've enjoyed it. I think you've enjoyed it. We've certainly had drama, you know.
Well, I enjoy it.
I mean,
I don't enjoy the drama. That just does my head in. It's like, look, I'm putting hours in here and keeping all this sort of sorted and running so you guys can play for free.
For free, yeah.
So, and then you get people who are like, "Oh, I'm going to start arguments and I'm going to start fights and I'm going to be really annoying." And I'm just like, why? I don't have to put up with this.
No.
Bye.
No. And it's funny because you, like, are way more tolerant than... I have improved, I will admit. I would like to say I've improved. Because there was a time when someone would do something and I would just be like, right, instant ban.
I always find that because you would leave them for ages, but you wouldn't give them any warnings or anything.
No.
And it would just like... And your patience would be like, "I'm running out. Right, it's run out their band." And they were just like, what happened? Like, did you tell them anything? Did you warn them? Oh, no.
I just saw them. I saw them X-raying, just banned them.
Just ban them.
Or they'd X-ray, and I'd be watching them, and I'd say, "You're X-raying, aren't you?" And they'd go, "No," and I'd be like, "Ban."
Well, that I find annoying as well. I think more people do. It's like, look, you're obviously doing. Don't compound it by continually lying to me about it.
Oh my god! Do you remember when we had that one guy who I said was X-raying, publicly said, "No, I'm not," and then whispered me and said, "I'm really sorry that I was X-raying," and then I had to put the screenshot into Discord to say that, look, he was just lying. Like, he clearly has DM'd me admitting it as well. Like
Yeah,
it was so ridiculous. God,
it's just frustrating. Or that was like, oh, I didn't break it. Okay. Did you take that out of the chest? No, I didn't take it. Okay, right. Okay.
oh my god! Do you remember with your cursed
It
chest?
says you did. Yeah, that's the one. It says you did take it out of the chest. Oh, well, I was just looking. Okay, you were just looking for it. Oh, actually, no. I broke the chest and picked it up by accident. I've put it back. Oh, it's not in there. Oh, no, I didn't put it back. I died. And then I died. I lost it. And it's just like the lie changes every 5 minutes. It's like, you do realise that this is all logged and none
Literally.
of this stuff actually happened.
But no.
Oh, no, that was a different server. Oh, yeah, no. On this server, this actually happened. And it's like, I can't be bothered now. If you just said, yes, I'm sorry, I'd be like, fine, don't do it again.
Yeah.
But after making me waste ages just, faffing around.
And tracking it all and trying to find out actually what happened. And,
Now I can't be bothered to help you.
I mean, your honey trap hut has been, frankly, amazing. Because you get so many different variations. You get so many variations because you get individuals who...
That's it. You won't be banned for doing it. It's more, it lets me know what the person is like.
Yeah, it lets you know how honest they are. Because you get people who will take
this,
and they will
and
say...
they instantly say, yeah.
Like, oh, I can't see now, but I didn't touch anything. I didn't take anything. It's like, so you have blindness and you have all the symptoms of the honey trap hut, but you're definitely
one way to get
that you didn't touch it. You're definitely sure. He's like, yes. And then there's another one. Oh, I was just swinging my axe around and accidentally broke it. And it's like, Oh, I was just showing my friend.
How come the logs don't say the chest has ever been broken?
Literally. It must have been a different chest. I was just showing him. I was just showing my friend what would happen. Like, I just wanted to do it. And it's just, what? Why?
Those are the ones.
But those are the ones that you just instantly know these are going to be trouble. Yeah. And
it's useful as to who do I keep my eye on.
And they usually never last very long either. So
the ones that just say, yeah, I picked it up because I was curious. It's like, no problem, you got caught. There we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those ones are generally fine. The ones that just go, oh no, I didn't. Those are the ones that usually within a month have been banned for either griefing or stealing or something else.
Yep.
It's pretty much about 99% consistent. That is.
I don't even want to utter the U name.
Don't.
The you the U name. Like, oh my god.
Well, at least he was kind of nice.
He was nice,
and he wasn't fun and nice.
But he wasn't stupid either. But he pretended to be stupid.
Consistent for stealing, griefing, and lying.
Yep. And I remember the straw that broke the camel's back went in someone's base after being warned about 12 times and having his thread extended numerous times when we really shouldn't have.
No.
And he got to the point where he went to someone's base, killed the named mod, and then went, "Where's this mob gone?" There was a mob here, and you turned up, checked the logs, and went, "You killed it, ban."
You killed it.
It was the most ridiculous thing in the world.
We had I don't know, let's say 100 because it's an easy number. We've got 100 players, and my time is 95% spent dealing with one player.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
All the other 99 players put together, usually things like, oh, how do I do this? Or can you remind me what the name of that teleport place was? Or, I can't remember the command to get here, or, or some question, or, oh, something weird's just happened. Can you give me a hand? Yeah, sure, no problem. And then there's one player who's just like, here's your name popping up in the log again, again,
Again,
again,
again,
again,
again.
again. Oh, now you've logged in. Why are you in someone else's base? I can see you on the map. Why are
Yeah.
you there? Oh, I'm not doing anything. Why? And I have to go and check. I
Yes.
have to go and check because it's you.
Have to be watched. Have to be monitored.
Now I spent half an hour checking, and what do I find? You've gone around and you've opened every one of their chests. Why have you opened their chests? I'm just looking. Okay. Oh, and in this one chest you've taken out. So, right, why have you taken that? Oh, I didn't mean to.
Literally,
I'm
even talking about it has raised your blood pressure.
I know. It's like, give it back, or you're gonna be banned. Oh, you can't ban me. I can ban you.
I can ban you. Oh my
If
god!
I was being unfair and I was just banning people because I like them or not, you'd be gone ages ago. But I have to be fair.
And then it's funny because we had that one individual who would whisper to each other. Bear in mind that we have access to the console and we can see everything that's whispered to each other. And then they go, "These are private communications. You can't read them."
I do kind of.
I remember that.
I
Hilarious.
do kind of see the point there. I'm sending this privately, but
on a public server that you aren't paying for, that goes through multiple checks, not only our checks but also Microsoft's check. Like Microsoft is reading them too.
Yeah, and the only it does sort of don't put anything in there you don't want people to see. I mean, most stuff. I mean, if I do see it, because I quite often have the console running, and that's how on one of my screens. It's like now I have the console. What's happening at the moment? Someone's voting. La Mama's voting.
There you go. There you go.
And it's very useful to have, because if that suddenly goes streams red up the screen going error, I'm thinking, hang on, there's something going on here. This needs to be checked.
No, it's good. It's good to have, because it's just like being like an IT dev,
No, I'm not sitting here reading it.
No,
but
that wasn't the point.
If anything goes red or yellow,
but it was funny because.
But I might look over and go, hang on, there's a message there that says, "Send me nudes." Okay, well, we can't be having that. Can you not be doing that, please? Oh, it's a private message. It's like,
yeah, like
it's a private message, but you're sending it to a server, or you shouldn't be able to see it. But it goes through the server. I mean,
but it's the same thing with every
even
public
says in our
communication.
rules.
Every communication that goes through a public network is.
Here we go. Yeah, in our rules it says, note, anything you type on the server is logged, and there is a possibility it will be seen by the admins. Do not type anything private.
Well, if that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's
especially names, addresses, passwords, bank details.
I mean, you don't have to be actively reading it for it to still be useful and checked when something happens. You know?
Yeah. I when there's an auto restart, I like to know that the actual server is back up and running again.
It's like CCTV. CCTV is always running, but you only ever actually watch it when something happens.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it's the perfect example.
I think the thing I use it most for, actively look at it most, is when someone says, "I can't get this command to work."
And it's like, well, what actually command are you using?
And I can look at the console and I can see that they're saying, "Oh, I'm typing this," and I look at the console and I can see that they're not typing that. They're typing something different. Again, that's not what you're typing. I can see that you're typing the wrong command. This is what you need to type. Oh, right. It's like, fair enough. There's millions of Minecraft commands.
Yeah.
So it's not. It doesn't bother me. But it's very handy because I can see the exact command the server is getting.
Yes, and the problem they're having.
They might ask me the question at the same time that someone is sending a private message saying, "Ooh, I've got a giant ding donger and I want you to touch it." And it's like, oh, okay.
Coppit, why are you sending this?
Coppit, could you use our private Discord, not the server, to send me those messages?
So sorry, Infernal. I'm so sorry. Oh God.
Yeah, I might see it.
Like, oh.
And there's nothing I can do about that.
No. But I mean, it's true for everything. Like, if you every single
it's
email.
Always true that you've got a giant ding donger.
Well, yeah, that is true. But if you send an email, you send a text over a public network, that is automatically tracked for certain keywords, certain
Yeah.
algorithms, certain just by intelligence services.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
But I mean that it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
The problem is,
nothing
I
you
think
say
the
is
problem
private.
it's how much do you trust the person that's seeing these messages? It's like your ding donger message. Do I react to it? No. If you'd said it in public chat, then yes, I would.
Oh,
But I don't.
you don't get reactions from my ding dong. That's not very nice.
I don't know if you did. I react to your giant ding donger? No, I didn't.
Oh.
If you'd done it in public, I would have. But it's just like, oh, I saw it. Do I react?
bet
do
you
I
did.
say anything about it? Do I
Saw my
do I
ding
then
dong.
tease them? It's like, no,
No,
stop it.
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're a giant ding donger.
I know. Can't help myself. It's Christmas. I'm in a good mood. It's Christmas.
It never feels like Christmas.
I'm off work and it's Christmas. We're having a chat. It's nice.
I've always worked at Christmas. So
Have you really?
yeah.
I'm not sure I could do that. I mean,
Well, I grew up in a hotel, so when my mum and dad were together,
I
they were
suppose
both
that's quite a busy time of year, Christmas, isn't
That's
it?
it.
So,
That's whenever it's holidays or celebration times, that would be our busier times.
yeah.
So Christmas Day, what was Christmas Day would be get up, work on the bar. They'd probably have a couple of hours in the afternoon where it's sort of like, oh, we'll have a Christmas lunch. But that would usually involve all the staff who were working there that day as well.
Yep.
And sometimes some of the guests. So even that would be, to use air quotes, socializing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it'd be back on the bar again in the evening, and then but you'd already done Christmas Eve, which was a crazy night in the bar, and then you'd be doing Boxing Day, which would be usually relatively chill, but still a lot of people coming in. So Christmas to me just means more work.
What's your Christmas drink of choice?
Now I'm living here. There's no
Christmas
really. I work on Christmas Day if it happens to fall on a work day where I have to go out and work. Or I'm working from home, which is fine. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
What's my gift of choice?
What's your Christmas drink of choice?
I don't have a Christmas drink really. It'd just be vodka with Coke. We'll put it with orange juice if you want. Or
It's just you and vodka. You just want to get drunk, don't you? That's what it is.
it's nice.
Oh yeah. I suppose.
I don't like beer.
You don't like beer? Any beer? Ale,
No, it's
lager,
horrible
bitter?
stuff. No, all absolutely disgusting. Mind you, I grew up, as I say, I grew up in the pub at hotel, and I used to
surrounded by it.
The smell of that stuff every day from the age of like 5, and it's just disgusting.
I must admit.
And what is it, like 4%? A whole pint? My God, that's not going to do anything. I'm going to have to have about 10 pints before I even feel like I've drunk something.
Yeah.
And by that time, I'm going to be like, oh, I feel quite merry. I'm liking this effect. If only I wasn't constantly sitting on the toilet and I could actually enjoy it with my friends.
That's true.
Because I've just drunk 10 pints.
Yes, that is true.
I had a friend and he was like, I'll have a beer every now and then. And so I would, and I'd have like a half pint.
It's like a shandy. Like a shandy.
And my no, proper beer. I'd usually go for lager because I prefer it over bitter. And not just one. I try all sorts of different ones. And when cleaning all the pipes in the pub, I had to try all the beers to make sure they taste fine anyway. So I know what they all taste like, and they're all disgusting. And my friend says, "Oh yeah, but after a few years, you get used to it." And I thought,
you have to
but
drink
there's so
it
many
for years. Yeah.
Why should I drink something for 2 years what I don't like? Why don't I drink something now
that I do like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the thing I liked about vodka is you could put it with anything.
Yeah.
You could chuck a load. I like cold drinks, so you could chuck a load of ice in it, and then you could have it with Coke. You could have it with any flavored sort of, any juices, or anything you wanted.
I must admit, I don't like cocktails. I like beer.
Although cider, a pint of cider with lots of ice.
Cider, I can get on board with. I can get on board with cider.
I could go with that. I'd rather still just have a vodka or something.
Oh God, nightmare. Nightmare. It's funny because
And it's easier to drink while you're working behind the bar.
is
If
it
you're working behind the bar and you've just got a pint of beer, or you've just got a glass of Coke.
Coke? Yeah, that's true. I suppose that actually works. That works.
Yeah, I've just got a glass of Coke.
I kind of agree with the
You
smell
want me
thing.
to socialize? You want to socialize every day with all of you people, and some of you, I have to admit, I love dearly, but some of you are arseholes, and every day I have to pretend that your stories are interesting and that I love talking to you. Then I am fucking drinking.
You need it to function. That's the thing. That's the thing. But I mean,
It certainly got that way.
the smell thing I kind of understand because
yeah.
because
Even
they,
now, just turns my stomach.
well, I mean, I went to a brewery when I was 8 years old in Cyprus, and it's still my favourite beer to this day. It's called Kio beer, and the brewery reeked.
Oh yeah,
All the hop, it smelt like vomit. A bit like you know how Parmesan smells of vomit.
Yeah.
A bit like that. A bit like that kind of effect. And I remember going to, at the end of the tour, they give you basically samples. With the samples, they aren't small. They're like basically, half a glass of beer. An 8-year-old me is more than happy to just drink this beer because my dad's just like, yeah, just try it, and you might. I'm 8. Why not?
Yeah, well, I don't see anything particularly wrong with that. It's better to learn how to drink responsibly than it is to go absolutely crazy.
Well. We can get to that in a minute. But I remember.
Yeah, well,
I remember drinking. I must have had about 6 or 7. I couldn't stop drinking it, and it was weird because everyone was like, "Oh,
8 years old, and you had like 4 pints. You must have been.
Oh, it was terrible.
Trash.
It was terrible. It was terrible. I was so violently sick, like violently sick, but at the same time, like I distinctly remember not being hungover. It was very weird because I woke up in the morning and I wasn't hungover at all.
Not getting a hangover as I get now.
Oh, I can't even imagine. But,
oh God, I can't stand it.
But I mean, and that's been my favourite beer ever since. And I remember being
that's a weird one, isn't it? Because normally you'd expect that to be
yes, exactly.
This is my story about when I drank 4 pints, and now just the smell of that beer makes me feel sick.
Exactly, the same thing.
Yours is just the smell of it is my favourite.
Yes, my thing is Jack Daniels. I can't stand the smell of Jack Daniels because it reminds me of when I had about 12 shots of them in a row and then threw up everywhere.
My wife's is Bailey's for that.
Well, there you go. Like you associate it with the negativity, and you can't even smell it because it's horrific. But for some reason, that beer just doesn't do it for me. I just love it. It's really bizarre. I don't know if it's like a nostalgia thing. Like I don't know, but
well, I was wondering, is there some sort of psychological mixture of, hey, this was a great time I had with my dad?
Yes, perhaps.
I really enjoyed this kind of me and my dad bonding, him giving me my beer. That's like, yeah.
Yes, perhaps.
Is that part of it as well?
Yes, that's perhaps one of yeah. I can see that. I can definitely see that. But I mean, I went to London for the NFL last month, and pints were I think £8.75, £9 for 1 pint, and it was when I worked in the O2 when I was in London, I worked in the O2 for a while, and the prices, Jesus Christ, just astronomical.
Insanity. I mean, there was other pubs as well that people would get that I knew. Oh, their local pub, yeah, it's like £2.50, £3 a pint, and that was cheaper than.
We didn't even find
where
a
I
good
lived
one.
in Cornwall. We were on about £4 a pint at that time. But I think if you're a local, you find a good pub.
Oh yeah, here, yeah. Like my local now is like £2.50, £2.80.
But see, that's an amazing price because I'm talking about years ago when a Guinness went up to £4.
But I mean, it's good. It's Carling and Foster's though. It's not like it's proper like IPAs and the good stuff.
Back label.
So it's not like Carling Black Label, eh?
That used to be an advert years ago. Carling Black Label.
I'm thinking of Johnny Walker Black Label when you say Black Label. Though I'm thinking of the whiskey.
Yes, the Johnny Walker whiskey.
God. She's
Never was a whiskey fan.
No, I've never really been on board with it either. I don't know why.
Too much flavour.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
It was my first question when I go to a pub. Have you got house doubles?
House doubles. Oh God, I used to go out with a girl. Not like date.
You could pay £3 a shot for a Smirnoff, or for $2.50 you can have a double generic vodka. Excuse me, double generic vodka, please. What do you think I'm going for?
Stop selling. You've already sold. Stop talking. Like
I'm drowning it in Coke.
Yep. God, but there was a girl that I used to go out with after work, and she would get like if it was usually like 2-for-1 cocktails, so she'd get like 4. Like, because she was like, well, I'm going to drink 2 anyway, so I may as well get 4 of them. Like, it's just like, Jesus Christ. And it was funny because she was well endowed, let's say. And
I'm glad I said I like her before you said that. That would make me sound a bit.
That would sound quite bad. And what she would do is when someone was queuing up to buy a pint, like a guy.
Oh, did she just push her breasts against his back?
Almost. She would go up to them at the bar and chat to them, and flirt with them. So by the time the barman got to them to serve and goes, "What do you want to drink?" he would go, "Oh yeah, do you want a drink?" And he would buy them a drink, and she would never spend a penny.
Yeah,
never spend a penny. And it was funny because I always thought, this is one of those like non-equality things here. Like this is one of those like in society.
I completely agree with what you're saying, as in you get those drinks for free. But on the other hand, I still kind of think I would rather not. Because you imagine if she just wants some time to herself and then she's got all those leery guys.
Oh, yeah. But at the same time...
And this doesn't really happen to blokes. You've got imagine just sitting there.
Know.
Imagine being,
I've been to the
imagine
States.
being pretty good looking and all those eyes, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, looking at me.
Yeah,
that'd be bloody horrible. I do find if a woman is wearing a really low cut top, and you happen to, and you can't help it. You go,
no, of course you can't. Of course you're going to look. You're going to look.
And she goes, "How dare you look at my cleavage?" It's like they're fucking hanging out. If I wore a pair of trousers that cut right down and you could see the top of my shaft, I guarantee you'd be looking.
How dare you look at my
penis? Even if it's the ugliest man in the world was standing there and he had these really low cut trousers and you could just see the top of it, it's like, everyone would be looking, and that's what you're doing with.
Of course it would.
So I don't mind.
It's human nature, isn't it?
I'm trying not to look, but don't complain.
It's one of those. It's one of those things that you just can't avoid doing.
If Coppit had his giant ding dong a half out, not enough to see it, just enough to get the suggestion of the top there, you'd be looking.
You'd be looking at my ding dong. You'd be looking at my ding dong.
I guarantee at some point in the future that will become a fashion sort of thing. Someone will start wearing trousers like that.
Well, the worst thing would happen,
and I'll be sick.
Was when she would do this all night, and then the guys obviously would then come up to her, would be like, "Hi, how you doing? You all right?
Oh yeah, we just had a nice chat. I thought we had a nice chat.
Yeah, and she'd be like, "Oh, I'm not interested." And she'd be like, "Oh, why are all these men coming up to me?" And I'm like, "Well, you don't have to have them buy you drinks. You can
just chat to them and then buy your own drink,
or you just don't chat to them at all because you're not interested either way. You're still not interested in them. Just buy your own drinks." Which is like, why would I buy my own drinks then when people could buy them for me? And it's like, well, because of this.
I take back my I like her. I don't like her at all.
No, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare, and she was a crying drunk as well. She was, how you get drunks who are fun, some dance, some get way too emotional. She was one of those. She would be a crier. She would drink too much and then she would cry because she would get emotional, like about an ex or whatever. Like, whereas I'm a fun drunk. I'm a chatter. Oh, I'm a nightmare. If I have.
I generally chat a lot.
Yeah, I talk.
I'd have to be drunk. It's the only time I'd ever consider dancing if I'm drunk.
I've danced when I'm drunk. It's
and
not
considering Considering I used to get let into the nightclubs for free because I would dance on the podiums, it gives you a good sign of how much I used to drink before I get to the
Oh
nightclub.
my god. Oh my god. God, I went to a bar in Manchester where the women would dance on the bar. I'd never been before.
That's just annoying.
I'd never been before, but they were very attractive, so it wasn't annoying at all.
That still annoy me. I don't care if your feet are beautiful. Get them away from my drink. I'm just trying to enjoy myself.
Oh, they would all wear usually dresses, and
so you're just being, but basically, you're just voyeurism.
Essentially, yes. But I didn't know that this was a thing at this bar. So when I was taken by my friends, I remember thinking like it was like £5 cover, and I was like, £5 to get in, Christ. But they paid it, so I was like, okay, it's free cover for me, fine, I don't care. Got in, and then after about 5 or 10 minutes, like a bell rang or whatever it was, and these women came onto the bar and started dancing, and in very skimpy clothing, and I was just literally like a puppy, just like, I've never experienced something like this. This is amazing. Like this, like, can we come here every day?
This is like something out of a film. This
Literally.
doesn't really happen to people.
Literally, absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Oh, I could see that being. I mean, if I was 18 years old and I was turned up in a place like that for the first time, it'd be kind of cool.
And then women in very little clothes who are very attractive dance on the bar in front of you, like. I
remember. Yeah, no, I now it'd just be like, oh, go away, I'm just trying to chat to my friend.
With a view.
We went to a friend's stag do, and it ended at a strip joint.
As it does, as is tradition.
A local strip joint, and everyone sort of disappeared off into the club, and there was me and my mate, and my mate is, how old is he now? Must be 80.
80, Christ.
Must be. He's one of the customers at the hotel where I worked, and he'd been living next door to the hotel since we moved there. He moved there before us, so I've known him basically all my life. Mm-hmm. But not as a dad figure. It's always been as a friend.
Yep.
And so we would go out. We'd always drink together in the pub. We'd go out and drink together. You know, he comes to my wedding. I go to places with him. We're a proper friend.
Yep.
So we turn up at this strip club, and there's me and him at the bar, and we're just chatting. And the girls are like, "Ooh, do you want to give us £5 and we'll kiss?" And I was like, "No, I'm all right, thanks." And he turns around and goes, "Oh, you're so and so? Yeah, no, your dad. Yeah, no, and your mum.
No, how's
your uncle doing?" But because he'd lived in Cornwall all his life. He knew everyone. Literally everyone. Everywhere we went, everyone loved him, everyone knew him. And so we just ended up, there's these two girls, and they're basically just wearing lingerie. That's all they're wearing. Just underwear. And they're trying to have this sort of like just a normal conversation. We just sit at the bar and he's like, "Yeah, no, I was round your Uncle John's farm last week, and I was having a chat with him about how your sister's getting on, and so why are you doing this then? What made you choose to do this job?" And
so what sort of career are you pursuing in this establishment?
I was thinking, I wonder if this is what people are supposed to do when they go to strip joints.
Oh my god. I think that the best one I've been to is one in Paris called Le Crazy Horse, and
Le Crazy Horse. I'd
obviously gone with obviously the missus, and we gone to Paris, and it was her idea. So she's like, "We should go to this burlesque club," and I'm like, "Hey."
Oh, well, they're quite. That's. I find those sort of things a lot more fun. That's not sort of voyeuristic sort of stripping. It's just more, hey, let's dress up super fancy and go crazy.
Don't speak too soon.
Well, okay, what sort of burlesque club is it then? Because now you said that, it sounds a bit more like a bit of a pervy one.
Well, I'll get to it. So she's like, "We should go to this burlesque club, this burlesque like cabaret," and I'm googling it, and it's like nude cabaret. It says nude. And I'm like, and this feels like a trap. It feels like a trap because she's like,
nude. Is it really burlesque? I thought for burlesque you need all the outfits and stuff. If
no,
it's not a burlesque cabaret. It's just a nude cabaret.
There was different shows within the show. That was the thing. That was the thing. But it felt like a trap. you know, when a woman says we should go to this basically nude club where these women are going to,
Orgy.
it feels like a trap. It feels like she's going to say, "Ha, you wanted to see them," and I'm going to go, "Oh, but I thought you know." That's what it felt like.
But you just said we should go. I disagreed with you.
Literally.
Oh, you dirty pervert.
So I agree, and I'm like, I think this is a fantastic idea. What are you talking like? This is a great idea. So we go, and we're sat in the audience, and the audience is for some reason quite a lot of women in the audience. I imagine women like to look at other women too. Obviously, they're that way inclined, whatever. But I'm
sure there's plenty of women that love to look at other women.
A lot of women in the audience. A lot of women.
Plenty of men that love to look at other men.
Exactly.
Huh?
So I wasn't like completely like confused by this, but I just did think I thought it was notable because I wouldn't ordinarily, like in England, see a lot of women in a strip club. You wouldn't see that.
No, you wouldn't expect you would expect to go in and see the sort of
80%, 90% men.
Yeah, you would assume that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but it wasn't that ratio. It was probably 50-50. So that threw me a little bit. So I'm sat down.
See, that sounds more like burlesque because usually enjoyed by both because it's not so much the sex aspect. But
no.
Okay, so you're in and you've sat down.
So we're in. We've sat down. They've come and given us a bottle of champagne each because that's what they do. They give a bottle of champagne for each table, each booth, and the music plays,
nice.
And the curtains come back, and I am not being funny, but there are probably 11 out of 10s, topless in very tiny bottoms on the stage, just completely illuminated for the gods to see. And I'm not expecting this to, because there isn't any like weaning me in. It was just literally curtains back, nudity immediately. And obviously,
yeah.
And I'm like,
start a bit lower.
But I'm like, I don't know how to react to this because obviously I'm next to the missus, and I'm like, well, this is interesting, isn't it?
This is happening.
Like, what do you do? So this is happening, and I'm not being funny, but literally like 11s out of 10. Like they're all matching. They're all the same body shape. They're all the same height. They all have the same legs. They all have the same, like, spotless, like not a hair on them. Apart from the obvious, because they're French, so we have to remember that bit.
Pits, yeah.
Not well, yeah, almost a certain type. So I'm, you know, they're doing this show, and they're dressed up like the Queen's Guard. Or the King's Guard now, I should say. So they have the big hats on, and they have like
King's Guard are not topless, sir.
No, I know, but that's what they're dressed like. They have the hats on, and they have like a modified version of the outfit. And I'm like, okay, so this is the barometer we're going to start with. We're going to start with this, and it's just going to get worse, and it does. And as it progressed, basically the women get more naked and more naked and more naked. And there's like individual shows where a woman will come out on her own and she'll strip. And then there'll be another one who will do like tricks in air quotes. Wild. Absolutely wild.
That reminds me of going to Ibiza and seeing Sticky Vicky.
Sticky Vicky. I don't even want to know.
No, you don't. No.
Oh my God. But it was absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. It was funny because when I was in London for the NFL, an American, obviously it's full of Americans because they've all come over for the NFL, and there was an American couple who had just come over for like it was like their first trip in like years since they had like 3 children, and it was their first trip in like 15-20 years, and they had gone to Paris first. And they were like, oh, we should have done, you know, because they were like, oh, have you been to Paris? I'm like, yeah, I went to Paris, yeah. And they were like, oh, we were going to go in this club called the Crazy Horse. And I was like, what a coincidence. But they didn't go in. And I was like, you should have gone in because the experience would have been amazing. And I'm speaking to the wife, and the wife's like, oh, but it just says like cabaret. And I'm like, nope, it's not. It says that, it's not. It's absolutely not.
To me, that sounds more like a strip club than a burlesque club.
But it wasn't personal. It was on stage.
Yeah, but they're still basically. I mean, nudity and almost complete nudity and stripping, as opposed to burlesque where quite often there is zero nudity and people are just dressed up in those really fancy sort of
Yeah, with like
outfits and
feather dusters and stuff.
yeah. Well, I'm not sure this actual feather duster, more like a
No,
feather
but like
boa. Probably, but...
that's what I meant. I don't know. I didn't need feather dust. I've come to clean your cobwebs.
I've come to clean your cobwebs.
She sounds
Wait,
like a plumber.
tickling you with a feather duster. Oh, not the feet, you minx. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Oh my god! But that was about Christmas time as well. That was like a Christmas thing. It's 2018. God, long time ago now. 2018, before COVID, before everything.
What? That's only 4 years ago.
I know. It feels
That's
it though.
not long.
It feels like pre-COVID and post-COVID is like a different era. I think that's what it feels like.
I'm one of those people that's not really been hugely affected by the COVID, because it's like, do you want to go out? No.
No. Why would you go out? Are you crazy? God. It's like I've been watching Christmas films as well, and it always starts with the debate of, well, what's a Christmas film and what isn't a Christmas film? Like, is Die Hard a Christmas film? To you?
Set at Christmas.
I would say so. It's set on Christmas Eve, isn't it? I think.
I think the thing that makes it a Christmas film is people's perception. Die Hard is set at Christmas, it's played every Christmas, and everyone asks if it's a Christmas film. If you have to ask, I think it's getting to the point.
It's a Christmas film.
It's basically a Christmas film.
Like Moonraker. Moonraker is not really a Christmas. It's a Bond film,
now,
but it's played always at Christmas.
Good example there. I was going to say a lot of people find Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter Christmas films.
Ooh, there's an interesting one, because I wouldn't.
Because, well, what they do is the family get together, let's binge watch some stuff, and they have it on in the background, because as you can go, a lot of people, hard to talk to your family for 12 hours straight for 3 days in a row. So you have some long running series on in the background. So if you run out of conversation, oh, what's happening on the TV at the moment? Oh, they've just fallen into the Chamber of Secrets.
The Chamber of Secrets. Yep.
Ron has found Hermione's Chamber of Secrets. Oh, that's the wrong version. That's my private version of Harry Potter.
Ron, what are you doing with your wand? Stop reading the DMs. Stop reading the console.
Reading the console.
Oh, dearie me. Dearie me.
Yeah, I'd say it's Christmas.
I'd say it's Christmas.
He's going home for Christmas, isn't he?
Yeah. And he's not driving. He's flying.
Driving home for Christmas.
That's like that's probably my favourite Christmas song. I think that and Shakin' Stevens, Snow is Falling.
I kind of like Snow is Falling, yeah. I like Fairy Tale of New York.
Oh, that's a classic. I had this was actually in a pub quiz the other day. What are the NYPD choir singing about in the Fairy Tale of New York?
I don't know.
Not even going to think about it. Do you want to guess?
No, because it'll be like 5 minutes of me going.
Apparently, it's Galway Bay. Apparently,
I'm not going to guess that.
Yeah, apparently the NYPD choir was singing Galway Bay. No,
I can't even remember what the guy is. You're a rat. You're a git. You're a dirty fat shit. I don't know. I can't remember what she says to him.
To be fair, at least you rhymed. You're a scumbag. You're a maggot. I can't say that because YouTube will demonetize me.
Which is strange, isn't it? Because it's just a bundle of sticks.
Or a pork dumpling.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I think the name came from the bundle of sticks, didn't it? Because they used to burn the bundle of sticks. The idea being it's offensive because we want to burn you.
Yeah.
And to be honest, burning someone is pretty horrendous.
Yeah. Of all the ways to go, I wouldn't want to do that one.
I think most people wouldn't, which is why when buildings catch fire, people throw themselves out the window and die that way.
Oh god, yeah. That reminds me of something that happened in New York. So we were in New York. We were in an Irish bar with an actual Irishman who actually ran it, who actually come from County Cork.
Was he dancing on the bar in a little skirt and was he topless?
He wasn't quite, but he should have done. He would have got more tips because this was in America. So he'd actually do tip in America. But a guy comes in and he orders an Irish car bomb. Bear in mind, 2 English lads are to his left at the bar. Me and my friend sat there. And he orders an Irish car bomb. And the Irishman says, you know, you are aware of the connotation. He's like, no, yeah, it's one Irish. So he makes him an Irish car bomb. Which is fine. I don't even know what it is. I think it's like I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is, but we obviously it's a cocktail.
It's a cocktail. And for obvious reasons, for people who are American, don't do this because it is quite an offence. You could do it. To be honest, you could probably actually do it in America. Don't come here and do it because
it seems to go into an Irish pub and ask for an Irish car bomb. Yeah, okay, it's a cocktail. It seems a bit provocative.
He thought it was funny. He was like, "Oh, it's really, oh, I love, oh, you need the 6 counties back and all." He was one of those. They were plastic patties. So, but the Irish owner isn't obviously very, he gets this all the time, so he's not actually too fussed. He apologizes to me and my mate. He's like, he's just being an idiot, ignore him. And then my mate goes, "Oh, I'll have a 911." And I'm like, that's a drink? Because I was like, what, you're just going to, like, obviously I'm not thinking he's going to now fly a plane into a building, because that would be a bit extreme. But it was a 911.
Yeah.
And
it's got to be a drink. Must be now.
Yeah, it is a drink. It's like a Manhattan with vermouth and something else. But there's like a dark rum or something that they put in it. In the top that then collapses through the drink, so it looks like the shot glass. Yeah. It looks like the building is falling.
Yeah. And
immediately as this is happening, the American guy who orders the Irish car bomb is absolutely fuming, absolutely livid. How dare you order one of these, and in New York of all places, and all this stuff. And I'm like,
it's not funny now.
And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Terrorism isn't funny anymore, is it? Like, it's just... And it's funny because that's exactly what happened when it actually happened. The donations to the IRA plummeted. Because Americans went, oh, maybe it's not so good after all. Like, terrible.
Well, that's gone from the joy of Christmas to...
Joy of Christmas to terrorism to... It was burning people alive that got me on it, because I just thought of that horrible documentary. That falling man. It's like horrible.
That's not nice at all.
Should happen to Scrooge. Is it Scrooge that's the baddie in... Or is it... No, it's not his partner. No, it is Scrooge. Or is it his partner?
What, Marley?
Yeah. No, it's definitely Scrooge, isn't it? Scrooge the baddie.
Yes, hard to say if he's a bastard.
Yeah. He's probably not
a nice person.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't give stuff away to help people and things like that. I don't think that makes him a baddie. He's just a miserable old git. Like, please, can I have some money? No, it's my money. Which, doesn't make him a bad person. It is his money. No, it almost... I think I'd probably do the same. Which is terrible. Yeah, he was just miserable and like, I don't care if I can help, but I'm a miserable bugger. And then he has to learn how to be nice.
Well, it's like Home Alone. Like, Home Alone is basically a story of a family forgetting about a child and him defending himself from a home invasion. Which I always thought was weird, because like, in any other home invasion, they just have guns and shoot him. Wouldn't they?
Well, I don't know. If I was a burglar, and I reckon a lot of burglars, there's a big difference if you get caught for breaking in, or if you get caught for breaking in with a weapon. I think you're talking quite a few years difference.
Yeah, I suppose.
If you break into someone's house and steal something, you're done for breaking and entering. If you break in with a loaded weapon.
But are you less likely to get caught if you have a weapon?
Technically, yes, because you'd probably get shot.
And being technically correct is the best kind of correct.
You're not going to be in prison, I suppose. Well, I dodged that bullet. Well, actually, no.
No, not quite.
That's why you're not in prison. You didn't dodge that bullet.
Didn't dodge a bullet. Oh God, God. Did you ever try any of them in the Home Alone ones? Because there was all sorts, wasn't there? There was the little Jacks. There were Spikes. There was the little toy cars.
Caltrops.
Yep. There were the little Hot Wheels. There was the marbles. I always felt like they were like a cartoon version. It's like the banana peel, where you sort of think, there's no way that's actually as slippy as the cartoons make it out. But I'm like 99% sure Mythbusters did an episode on it, and they were like, no, they really are like super slippy.
They are slippy. They're obviously not as slippy as the cartoons make out, because that's just insanity. Because cartoons are exaggerated. But yeah, if you're walking along and you stand on something like a banana peel, that could be pretty.
Like no grip, you just slide.
Yeah, but you could stand on probably quite a few other things that have the same effect. But
Yeah,
I think they're pretty bad.
I suppose. What's your Christmas dessert? Because I need to make one. And I think I'm going to make trifle.
I don't like Christmas pudding, so...
Oh, no. I hate Christmas pudding. That's terrible.
Disgusting. Don't like Christmas cake.
I like the marzipan on the Christmas cake.
That's all I like. I don't like the icing. It's too strong icing.
But the marzipan,
I don't like the inside. Mincemeat.
No, terrible. You know, do you like fruit cake?
No, not really.
I don't like fruit cake either. Because it's slightly
Banana
different
cake?
to mince cake.
Banana cake? Or we could do actually, the banana's not a fruit.
Wait, what? Banana's not... Excuse me. I'm sorry.
The herb, isn't it? I think.
What on earth are you talking about? Banana's a herb? You heard it here, folks. You heard it here, folks. The banana is a herb. It's not green, and it's not... Banana is not a herb. What are you talking about?
It's a berry.
What? No, it's not. It's a fruit.
It's a berry.
It's not a berry.
No, technically it's a berry.
It's not a berry. It's not.
And a strawberry? Strawberry's not a fruit? What are they? They're called droop sacks or something.
I'm sorry. That's what I have in summer.
With your giant ding-donger.
I'm calling strawberries now. Oh, the flavour. No, I can't make that joke.
Strawberries aren't berries. They are fruits.
Yeah, they are fruits. But a berry is a fruit.
But they're not berries. It says they are derived from a single flower with more than one ovary, making them an aggregate fruit.
Jesus, ovary. Why are we getting all like technical? Why do we need to have those words in there? Like,
because that's what defines them.
Oh God! What if they identify as a fruit?
Well, they do. Strawberries identify as berries, and we accept it
because they are. They are berries.
They're not. Berries are singular.
This is a hill I will die on. A strawberry is in the name. Like it's a berry. It's a berry.
Yeah, your name's Jack. You don't go around lifting up cars.
I might do. Top wheels.
I might do if I wanted to. I can. I'm allowed.
In fact, I'm contractually obligated to do so occasionally.
I don't have to do. My parents thought long and hard about what name to give me, and they said, "You do realise if you call him that, he's going to be lifting cars all his life, normative determinism and all that."
God,
oh, it'll do.
I think it works.
Could be worse. We could call him Flaming Arse.
Flaming Arse. Oh God, you must see he's got to have a Vindaloo each week.
Well, that's not too bad. You probably do.
Oh God, yeah. God. That's another thing. What's your sort of, because obviously now we've ordered Christmas food. It's all in the fridge, but the problem is it's a double-edged sword, because number one, we can't fit any other food in the fridge because it's rammed. But two, you can't eat any of it because it's all for Christmas.
That's just bad planning.
Well, yeah, but we're in the sort of, well, let's have a takeaway then instead. But what takeaway do you have?
In case it's good planning. Takeaways are fun.
Do you have an Indian? Do you have a Chinese? And these aren't people we're eating, viewers, by the way. Do you have an Indian? Do you have a Chinese? Do you have a kebab? Because obviously kebabs are a classic, and kebabs are great. We all love a kebab. Do you have a burger? Like, what's your go-to? I want to know so I can judge you for it. I'm feeling very judgmental.
In England, my go-to would be Chinese.
Sweet sour balls.
Yeah. Sweet and sour chicken balls always.
But I think different places do different versions of the sauce though. Some it's too tangy, definitely. Some it's too like overpowering.
Yeah, and I've never even had them now. I live in China. No one sells them.
Do you miss them? Do you miss them?
I do. I mean, it's just a lump of chicken in a bit of batter with a bit of sauce. But yeah, I quite like them.
I think it's one of those things.
But now I'm in China. Funny thing is, now I'm in China. My go-to takeaway is probably, what do we get most often? We probably get burgers or KFC.
Burgers or KFC.
Yeah.
Burgers or KFC. I mean, KFC can be good. It can be hit or miss, though, I feel.
Yeah, I love chicken.
Yeah. Yeah, chicken is definitely the superior protein.
I do like chicken.
I mean, for Christmas, I bought a Sutton Hoo chicken.
Has it got a helmet on?
No, but it really should, shouldn't it? Really?
As soon as you say that, all I've got is a picture of that helmet with a chicken in it. Yeah.
It's the same company that I told you that asks me to pick the chicken and gives me the picture of basically like a year 7 photo, and they're all lined up with little squares. What they look like.
That's just.
Which is completely pointless because how do I know that A, that was the same chicken, and B, I can't see
Can't see the actual chicken.
No, it's completely pointless.
You can see its feathers.
Yeah, which I don't actually see on the chicken now that I have the chicken. So I don't. Sorry,
that would just annoy me.
It's just pointless.
I'm not a fucking chicken checker. Get someone who's good at actually judging a chicken. Just basically don't pick a. Imagine a meal turns up and it's absolutely disgusting, and you go, "Well, that's the one you picked."
Literally.
Yeah, sorry, that one's got. He's a bit special. He lives in shit and eats turds. Why didn't it say that on the website?
You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell, could you?
Someone had to pick it from his picture. It's like, so you're saying it's my fault I got a crap meal?
Yeah.
Couldn't your chef judge the quality of the chicken? Can't you just do that for me?
Oh yeah. So I've got a Sutton Hoo chicken. Who's not?
I don't like them. Making me rant. I hate that company. It's an extra button to click when ordering. I'll have chicken, please. Oh, which picture of the chicken will it?
That makes zero difference to the end goal.
I'm not a chicken master. Get someone who can judge quality food and pick me a nice piece of chicken. Don't give me the shit one.
And then I got a venison Wellington. Venison Wellington, which makes me feel very posh, and a beef fillet as well. So I'm feeling a bit pretentious this year, to be honest. I must admit. It's
It doesn't sound Christmassy.
Well, the chicken's Christmassy. The venison's. Well, I mean, the Wellington's kind of. The Wellington's really for Boxing Day.
None of it sounds Christmassy.
Well, how would you make it Christmassy? Because it's not a turkey.
I'd shove a piece of holly up its ass. I don't know how I'd make it Christmassy.
Because I don't like turkey. Turkey's dry.
Only if it's cooked badly. My mum used to cook turkey all the time. It was never dry.
Well, my turkey is dry, so that's why I don't like it. So
I think turkey's harder to cook, so it tastes nice. And given the choice, I'd have chicken.
Exactly. There you go. So,
where's your Christmas pudding? In the bin because it's disgusting.
In the bin.
Cake? In the bin because it's disgusting.
Yep. I'm doing a trifle, and I think we're doing cheesecake as well, homemade cheesecake.
That could be right. I'm okay with some cheesecakes. Depends how strong they are. Lemon cheesecake. That would be my go-to cheesecake.
Oh, everything lemon. Lemon meringue is the superior of superior desserts for me. Lemon meringue is just phenomenal. 10 out of 10. Absolutely 10 out of 10.
I like a lot of lemon things.
Lemon, difficult lemon.
Lemon, difficult lemon.
It's not lemon squeeze. It's not easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's lemon, difficult lemon.
Difficult lemon.
Oh God Almighty! The things we come out with, I swear.
Pigs in blankets.
Yep, having them. Gotta have them.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just a sausage and bacon. I mean, that's
no. It's a chipolata. It's
Well done,
chipolata.
pig. Ooh, I don't want tiny little ones. I want giant sausage. Well done, pig. That'll do, pig.
That'll do, pig. That'll do, pig.
You-
But it's funny because when you say to the man in Asda or Tesco, or the shops are available, but when you say to the man or woman, or the genders are available, I would like some pigs and blankets, and they go, oh, okay, do you want some sausages? So I'm like, yes, sausages. And then you find them, and they're like, no, these are sausages. I wanted pigs and blanket sausages. And they go, well, you said sausages. And I'm like, yes, I know I did, but I want the little sausages. Like, well, these are smaller sausages.
You would expect the chipolatas to be in the same place as the sausages in a shop, wouldn't you?
You would, wouldn't you? You would. A logical individual would put them in a similar spot. They're not. The chipolatas are next to the streaky bacon.
Cubes.
But the chipolatas are next to the streaky bacon.
Okay, there's the sense there being that the two go together, but
So when you buy the bacon, or when you're near bacon, you see streaky bacon, you go, oh, we need some of that. And we also need the chipolatas because they're next to it.
so what you should do is you should have sausages, chipolatas, bacon,
But
and then
you
and then
don't.
everything's in the right place.
But you don't. You have sausages, fish. Don't know why you have fish. But you have sea bass, you have salmon, you have all these very nice fish, but completely out of place.
It's out of place for a logical sense to make it easy for you to buy things, but it's all in the right place to make you see more products that you don't need and buy because you're impulse buying.
Stop defending the corporations.
I'm not defending it. I'm not saying it's good. I tell you what, I used to do shopping for the hotel where I worked, and I could go in there. And the shopping list. I mean, I would literally fill up my car with stuff. I would have like 2 trolleys full minimum, which is like rushing around, and I could get it done. Ooh, I don't know, half an hour.
That's an efficient shop.
I'd have a massive shopping list. I could get in there. I would go, right, I need this, and just go round and go bang, 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 because I knew where it all was, where everything was. I've shopped those exact items so many times before. I didn't have to think. I had a route that was perfect, and then, as all shops do, every year or something, they'd go, well, everyone's got used to where everything is now, so we'll jumble everything around.
Oh my God, the worst thing in the
more
world.
impulse buying. And it would go from a half an hour shop to about a 2-3 hour shop.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. Because you're like, where the hell is this? Where the hell is that? Where the hell is...
Yep.
Nightmare.
Yeah. I hated it.
Well, the thing is, I bet the staff hate it as well. But I bet the staff hate it because everybody's asking them all the time.
Everyone hates it apart from the people that make more money.
Yeah. And at Christmas, it's always like that. It's always like that, especially when there's too many people, first off.
I think that's another thing about Christmas that frustrates me, is it starts in like November, if not before.
It's pretty much either...
You start walking around the shops and in November it's Christmas music and you're like, oh, no.
It's either immediately after Halloween or sometimes even like late October, before even Halloween's finished.
If Halloween wasn't there, my God, it'd probably start at the beginning of October.
Started July. Are you kidding? Oh, it's July, Christmas time.
It'd be. I wish it could be Christmas every day. Well, thank God it is now, isn't it? Fantastic.
Oh God, we're sounding like Scrooge now. It's terrible.
That's such a silly song. They haven't thought it out. If it was Christmas every day, none of the days would be special. It'd just be normal. Think before you write a song.
No one thinks before they write a song. Have you heard some of the songs these days? They're terrible.
I bet they do. I bet a lot of those people think if I put out another album, I can make a few more million. Who cares if it's crap?
Oh.
That's why so many people have a good first album and they have an absolute awful second one, or they just disappear.
Well, I mean, sequels have never been better than the originals. Never been better than the originals. The only sequels that are better than the originals are, I would say, Star Wars and Aliens. Aliens is better than Alien. And
so when you say sequels to Star Wars, do you mean 4, 5, and 6 are better than 1, 2, and 3?
No. I mean, 5 is better than 4.
I see. Yeah, so you're ignoring the newer ones. You just go for the original trilogy.
Yeah,
Saying number two
Empire
is better
Strikes
than
Back is better than A New Hope.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose the first one is a lot of just setting up. Here are the characters.
Yep, yep,
The second one is like, hey, let's kick it off a bit. Yeah,
yep.
yeah. I could go with that. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I could go with that.
But normally, sequels are
And what was
horrific.
the second sequel you said?
Aliens. Aliens is better
Oh
than
yes,
Alien.
Aliens is the one
Where they're on
with
the planet.
Sigourney Weaver and the little girl Newt.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that one was a bit scarier than the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're the only exceptions to the rule that sequels are usually way, way worse than the original, because you can
Yeah, I
never
can't really think
you can
of
never
any.
replicate them. The original it's a bit like when we played that custom map. Asleep 2 wasn't as good as Asleep.
Yeah, well, you've got the expectation, haven't you?
Yeah, whereas Asleep 1 just blew our socks off. Like
That
everything.
hasn't gone out yet, has it? I'm looking forward to watching that.
Oh,
It's just
the Pac-Man.
mental.
And here's a snowman. Oh, now there's a unicorn. Like,
That's the unicorn
what?
shitting particles. Oh, you're on a spaceship. What's going on?
like literally, now it's exploding.
Oh, I enjoyed that. I
It
enjoyed
was
that
just,
map.
it was just unbelievable.
It
Unbelievable.
was. Oh, that's one of the most fun maps I've ever played.
It's number one for me.
It was so fast paced and just random. It was just
It was like
fantastic.
TikTok in Minecraft.
In Minecraft map form. You did not have a chance to be bored. You get it. Oh, I'm quite enjoying this scenario. Oh, really? Well, here's a pig in front of a castle. Watch out for the witch. Oh, there's a unicorn. What? What's happening?
Yeah, but the weird thing was the pacing didn't feel like obnoxious. It just
No,
felt
it
it
was
just
stra-
felt
it was-
like intense, but like fun.
It was almost perfectly done. I think I don't know if they planned the pacing to be exactly that good. In which case, wow, well done. I
Yeah.
think it's more likely that it just happened to be perfect.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so much better than the second one,
Oh,
because it's almost impossible to recreate.
yeah, exactly. And you've got your hopes up. You're like, oh my god, the first one was so good. I hope this one is good, but it's never as good. It's never as good.
Not the same.
It's just not the same. It's not the same. It makes me
Oh, I
sad.
really try. I'm looking forward to watching them when they come out. It's just gonna. When do
Oh.
they come out? Do you know when they're coming out?
Well, here's the thing, don't we? We record banks and banks of footage. I mean, I have
Some of
so much stuff to actually edit and actually render, and it takes about a day to edit and render one video. So,
Yeah.
probably February, March, maybe. God, I don't know. Around that time. I've got the entire other Super Hostile map to come out.
Oh yeah, and we're doing another one
And
already.
we're recording another one as we speak. So
Yeah.
there's
So if you're liking Super Hostiles,
yeah, you got a lot more coming.
and people do seem to like them.
They do. They really like the Race for Wool. The Race for Wool
Yeah,
is very
people
popular.
like that.
Very, very popular.
I kind of like them.
I mean, they were fun to play. They were fun to play. They're with like members of the community. You know,
Yeah. It's more fun that way as well.
It
I
is.
saw some people say, can you get other people's perspectives?
Oh, did you? I didn't
That
see
would
that.
be that would be cool to get other people's perspectives in there, but I don't know. Can you do it?
I mean, everyone would need to have the same texture pack. I would need all of their footage, and
That's the hard thing. Everyone would have to send you loads of footage.
I would have to sync
we're
it
not-
all up.
There is just us. There is no editor.
No, it's
So-
just me. Yeah, it's just me and you. So I would need to sync it all up with a clap at some point, which there wouldn't have been. And
Well, you would have to have one.
yeah, you'd have to have one. And then I would need to sift through hours. So if
I know, that's-
the map took 2 hours, I now need to sift through 8 hours because I need everyone else's 2 hours. Then I need to sift
Well,
through it probably multiple other times to make sure that it's edited correctly and syncs correctly.
if there's 4 on each team, you've got 16 hours of footage.
Just thinking about it makes me sad. So I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I think that you would have to pick someone to be the main person to make it doable. So you pick yourself, and then you just edit the video for yourself. And if you see things sort of like, oh, well done, you just shot that person, you think, okay, I'll just cut to that bit where they actually shot the person.
Yeah.
For like 30 seconds or something, and then I'll come back to the main narrative. If you're going to do it so you're jumping continuously between all the different aspects, I reckon that it's just so much work. It's unbelievable.
And
now,
I would only get 100 views.
That was going to be my next point. If you're getting paid, if you're getting, so let's say you've got 1 million views on that video and you've got £2,000, you're kind of thinking now, £2,000, that's worth me doing.
The amount of hours that would have gone into it, basically weeks.
Exactly.
Weeks worth of hours.
Just sort of like it. If you're getting paid £2,000 for it, that's full-time job easy. And then you think, well, I've got to spend the day editing that video. It's like, hang on, but I don't have to spend the day doing my full-time job because that is my job. So yes, I can do it now. But whereas you've got like 5 days of the week, it's like, oh, I've got to do my 5-day job, my full-time job, and I've got to find time to do all of this as well. Then it becomes impossible.
Yeah, then it's just then it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and you just don't have time to do that.
And the funny thing is, if you speak to anyone who actually also does YouTube, they'll tell you the same thing. It takes forever to do anything. Like one video takes a day for me.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. Wait, first of all, you've got to set it up and record it all. And I suppose it depends what sort of format you're doing. I'm sure some people can knock out a video quite quickly. But if you look at all the bigger, better sites, they're either doing a lot of research to make sure they've got their facts all right, or they're setting a lot of stuff up to make sure things, work smoothly.
Which also goes into production time.
Yeah.
So one video might take 3 days, really.
Oh, easily.
Like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, which is why we tend to record sessions.
Yes, I think it's an easier way to do it, isn't it? You record three or four videos all in one go, because everyone has to be there. You've got to get everything sorted, and if you had to do that every time just to record 20 minutes, you're adding a lot of extra work on.
You've no chance. It's not sustainable. Unless they're all being paid as well to be at that spot at that time, then fine. And then you have an editor who will also edit it.
Yeah, then it changes because it's like, oh, well, this is your job. Okay. Oh, but I want to go out and do something. Yep, that's fine. But if this wasn't your job and we were doing this for fun, then I would say, yeah, okay, sorry about it. But if this is your job and how you earn your living, then you have to have that extra level of responsibility. You have to be here.
And it also changes the dynamic.
Yeah. Yes, you also get a bit of, oh, now it's my job.
Yes, definitely. And I think that's the fear as well, is that if it is something that you actually rely on and you need to work at it to actually still pay your bills, that's when the stress comes in and you're worried about...
I think then, I mean, I'm fully aware that if I did YouTube for a living, there would be times where I get up in the morning and it'd be like, I don't feel like editing that video now, or I don't feel like recording this thing now. But I would then instantly think, well, hang on, all I have to do is edit a video or record something. I could have to go out in the cold to a horrible, shitty office and work with shitty bosses and shitty co-workers.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that. I can just stay here and I'll start editing my video. I don't feel like doing it, but God, the alternative is 1,000 times worse.
Literally, I think that would be the constant sort of sticky note reminder, was that yes, sometimes you might feel bad, But just remember,
God damn, it
this
could be
is the
so much
alternative.
worse.
Like, this is the alternative.
Yeah.
So, and I
Oh,
think that's as 2022 sort of comes to a close. That's I think that's a good thing to remember. Like, still stick at it. You know?
Yeah, just keep going, plodding along, see what happens.
Like, I wish I'd never stopped. I wish I'd never stopped. I don't know where I'd be now. 7 years. 7 years of constant sort of. And don't get me wrong, there's a big difference between my quality now than my quality then. So my quality's definitely obviously gone up. Well, would it have gone up if I had been pushing out videos for 7 years? Probably not as quick. But
I think anything you've done for 7 years, you're going to get better at.
yeah. But I think, would I have been able to keep up the pace? Would I have got bored? Would I have, not had that, or other commitments when you're young? It's those things, isn't it? So,
well, that's true. I mean, when you're 20, do you want to? Hey, let's go to the pub. Oh, I've got another video. I've got every night. All you're doing is just editing videos. You're never going out or anything. I couldn't have done that at 20.
I think I uploaded daily.
I lived in the pubs.
You lived in the pubs. Yeah, you lived in the pubs.
I literally lived in a pub, and if I wasn't at work in the pub, I'd be out at someone else's pub.
Drinking.
Yeah, because I had a lot of friends who ran pubs as well. So it's sort of
just pub central.
it was just basic pubs. But
I mean,
if you're not in my own pub, I'm in my friend's pub. And if I'm not in their pub because they've got the night off, then we go out together to someone else's pub.
But that's what it is. I mean, in the little village I grew up in, there was 2 churches and 6 pubs.
That sounds very similar to like what it's like down in Cornwall.
And that was it. There wasn't there was a post office, 6 pubs, 2 churches, and
it sounds almost exactly like the village I grew up in, which I believe has 5 pubs. I think 6 if you counted the football club. So 6.
Cricket club. Yeah, cricket club.
Methodist church.
Yeah.
And so 2 churches.
Yep.
And post office, which is also basically the general store, and it was the only shop because most of the others shut. There's one shop right at the top of town and one at the bottom. So it had 2 shops, only 1 post office. Yeah, exactly the same.
Almost, yeah. Like just it's just crazy, isn't it? It's just crazy.
It's basically identical, exactly the same.
Yeah. And that's just what we do, though. It's just pubs and pubs and church for some weird reason.
The churches were never used. No one used any of the churches. They were just left there because every old village had a church.
Yeah, and their history. They're usually hundreds of years old. So you just sort of left them alone.
Well, the church was quite nice. The Methodist church was just a box. Which in some ways I kind of prefer.
In which ways?
Not how it looks. In which ways is the idea of, hey, look, we're all here to worship Sky
It doesn't
Fairy.
matter what the building looks like.
Doesn't matter what the building's like. It's what we believe. It's our faith.
Yes, I see your point. I agree.
As opposed to, you want to come in? Well, first give me as much money as you can because there's a hole in the roof which you have to pay for, even though we've got solid gold candlesticks and this stained glass window cost £1 billion. And we've got all this. Do you really need gold inlay on your pews and on your? Yes. Otherwise, the God will not think that we care enough. Surely it's about your faith and your belief.
Literally.
No. It is about it is, but we must have money and gold and everything pretty to show how much faith we have.
They're basically like crap dragons, aren't they, priests?
Just hoarding
gold and want it.
Although I don't think it's as low as level as the priests. I think it's higher up than that. It's a pyramid. It's just like a pyramid.
It's an MLM, isn't it? It's an MLM. The whole system is an MLM.
I know. I've nothing against people having faith and belief. I've nothing against it at all. I think I just not a fan of organized religion where it's kind of like do what we tell you and
I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Like, I actively dislike it, and I think that's
Some of the shittiest people I've ever known have been the most religious. In fact, it almost goes hand in hand.
well. Christopher Hitchens said that the way to make
Ugh.
a good man do a bad thing is make him religious. Make him religious. That's how you get good people to do bad things, is you make them religious. And then they have a justification for it. You know? And,
Yeah.
and
Not a fan.
it's terrible because, like, you speak to... Oh, it's like, oh my God, I watched this one video, because obviously it was, like, Christmas, so, like, I even get ads for church now on YouTube because it's Christmas. And they're like, come to Sunday Mass for Christmas. And I'm like, no, get
I
fucked.
tell you what I'm getting all the time. Blind Scientology adverts.
Oh, God. That's your kind of religion, then. That's what your adverts are.
Oh, my God.
And
When it's with cults, it's pretty much a cult, isn't it?
oh, Scientology's a cult. Yeah. But, I mean, Scientology is one of those religions where it's very much obviously man-made. Like...
Well, yeah, Coppit, they're all man-made.
Well, exactly they are. But it's one of the very obvious man-made ones, though. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but I know what you mean, and I understand it. But as far as I'm concerned, they're all man-made. I don't mind if they're made 2,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, or yesterday. They're all the same.
They're all the same. They're all the same. It's like Mormons. Mormons are quite blatantly man-made.
One of the things that sums them up for me is when you've got like, oh, we all worship this one thing, and then there's two people. It's like, oh, I'm the leader, and I'm the co-leader, and we believe the same thing, and everyone is beneath us, and we're all praying, and then they fall out, and they go, oh well, I'm going to go and start my own religion then.
Yep.
Huh? I'm just going to start my own religion.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a left-handed worshipper now. What?
Yep.
You can't just literally. I know it's all made up anyway, but you can't just literally just tell people I'm going to go and make up my own thing.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
Have your faith, have your belief. You do not need to be attached to any massive organization to have your own faith and belief.
No. And the worst thing is when you get the nicey nice Christians or the nicey nice religious people who are like, well, we interpret it like this, and we don't listen to that bit. And I'm like,
No,
you're just virtue signaling. You're just virtue signaling. The book says what it says. You either read all of it and believe that all of it came from this mighty sky being, or you don't listen to any of it.
Loads of different people, wasn't it?
But that's the thing. Some of it's the same fucking book. Some of the same book within the book. Like
It does seem like they were given, here's 100 books, and at the beginning people went, okay, well, we'll take this one. Oh, no, we're not having the Book of Enoch. We're not going to recognize that. But our religion will recognize the Book of Enoch. Why don't you want the Book of Enoch? Like, which ones are right? Which ones are wrong?
it's just ridiculous, isn't it? It's just ridiculous.
At least the people that pick and choose the bits they want to believe seem to have a bit more sense than the ones that believe everything is literal.
Yes.
That I find scary. Hang on. A book which were written at random times by random people, you believe everything written in that book is true. Every single word.
Bear in mind that these won't be the originals, because over years and years of scribes copying them, they'll have made mistakes.
When were they written anyway? Like when was like the sort of Bible written? Wasn't it like 300 to 500 years after, like 300 to 500 BC?
Yeah, the earliest manuscript of the Bible is about 300 to 400 AD.
Yeah. So if Jesus lived and
so no one's an
died,
eyewitness.
These things are already like 300 years of stories old.
Yep.
Oh my God! How much have you ever played Chinese Whispers?
Oh.
All you have to do is send a message through 5 people, and God knows what's coming out at the end.
Exactly.
300 years.
And the worst thing is the earliest manuscripts don't have stories that the Bible does now, which tells
Yeah.
you that they were added
And
later on. Like Jesus feeding the
all of these
5,000. Go on.
and half of these stories are in other older cultures which are thousands of years older.
Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
so that this story is clearly taken from them. Oh
Like,
yeah, but we liked it.
it's like Jesus says, it's like there's two things. One, as an example, Jesus feeding the 5,000 never happened. Was never in the original manuscripts. That's been added at some point. Didn't happen. Wasn't the original. But it wasn't the original story. Another thing.
Well, it's hard to say what is original when they were written over hundreds of years by hundreds of people.
Well, that too. But another thing is Jesus says, oh, well, we get morals from Jesus because Jesus said, love your neighbour, which is just Confucius, which is what the Greeks had 2,000 years prior. It's just plagiarism. It's plagiarism from the Greeks. So it's not even original.
And that probably came from sort of Asia,
Yeah, exactly.
India and China.
Exactly. And it always got me that this all powerful being who is all powerful, all knowing, all loving, thought the best way to save mankind would be to send a human version of him to die and take everybody's sins, past, present, and future. And I'm not going to appear to the Chinese, who can already read and write by this time, but I'm going to appear to in Bronze Age Palestine.
But the Chinese did have their emperors who were descended from the gods.
Yes,
dragons,
but comparable. Let's come on now.
Well, they had. They didn't have one god though, did they?
No.
They had multiple gods, I think.
No. And
see, I can understand multiple gods.
Yes, like the Greeks, I actually don't mind because the gods actually kind of make sense almost.
As far as I'm concerned, that's very, very, very early science.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Religion.
Oh, where did the lightning come from? Oh, that's the lightning god.
Well, yeah, it came from the sky. We can't justify
Where does the wind come from? It's the wind god. And then as you learn more, because it's your justification.
Yes.
This is my best theory for where it comes from. Something
and
has
not
power
giving
lightning.
and not giving it to something or not giving it a name or a reason is scary. So we give it a name, we give it a reason, and then suddenly it's not scary anymore. Oh, that's just the wind god.
It's the wind god. He makes the wind blow. And then
because I don't know,
unless you
it's
learn
scary.
More, I don't know. It's generally scarier.
Yeah.
See, I can fully understand that as a form of sort of early science.
Yeah, and that's exactly what religion was. It was our first attempt at astronomy, cooking. It was our first attempt at all these other things, and because it's our first attempt, it's obviously our worst attempt.
Was rules for people as well.
It's like so for example,
like cleanliness is next to godliness. If you want to be good to the god, you should be clean. Now I think that's just a way of saying to people, just wash, for God's sake.
It's the same reason.
It's going to stop you getting ill. It's going to stop you sick. It's going to stop you spreading disease to other people. It's going to stop you getting infections. It's just I don't know. We don't know what any of those things are. Okay.
God will love you if you wash.
The sky being likes clean people. Oh right, okay. I'll make sure I wash every day.
Yep.
And in that sort of usage, I think that's good. You're helping people.
Yep. But at the same time,
again, science though.
When you say
why am I living longer? Because you're clean. Because they don't know about infections and germs and bacteria.
They don't know about germ
you're living
theory.
Longer
they think it's demons. They think it's demons that cause infections, not germ theory.
And sneezes. Hence you say bless you.
And sneezes. But it's like don't eat pork if you're Jewish. Don't eat pork. And the reason
because not enough people cooked it well enough, and they're
not enough people cooked it for the correct temperature for the correct amount of time. So they said, well, don't eat pork because you'll get ill, or don't eat pork because God tells you not to.
Which is easiest? Either we teach you how to cook it, which probably we don't even know the reason either.
Nope, we just know that if you eat this, it kills you.
A lot of people are dying from eating this stuff.
I wonder if it's God that's smiting them. Maybe God doesn't want us to eat it.
Yeah, something doesn't like us eating this stuff, and it's not the It's not. Oh, could it be tiny miniature things we can't see?
or
Don't we,
understand.
or could it be something giant we can't see? Sorry, what's the difference between believing in either of those if you've got no proof?
Exactly. Exactly.
And
And
when it
wouldn't
comes down to it, you're probably going to go for the bigger. There's some
and
big
well,
thing.
here's the thing. Wouldn't it be better if it was a big thing, but if it was a big thing that I could pray to and listen to me? Wouldn't that
Yeah.
be better than these tiny little things that I don't understand and can't control?
Well, I think the idea of power would be there as well, wouldn't it?
Yep.
I'm bigger than the small things. Those small things can't have that control over me.
Yep.
I'm so much bigger. How could these tiny little germs, even if I've now got proof that they exist, how could they do anything to me? I'm so much bigger. So what's controlling this must be bigger than me.
Yep. Yep. And if it does make me ill, then it must be the demons making me ill.
And
They're bigger
yeah,
than
and
me.
then by logic, I pick the big invisible thing over the small invisible thing.
Yep. That's exactly
I
what
would.
happened. Exactly
I
what
would
happened.
pick the bit, yeah.
And
And then at some point, some people, because people are people, some people went, do you know what? We can make money and get power out of this.
and that's
And those are the ones who have ruined it for everyone else. All the others are like you. Do what you want to do. But those ones who've turned around and said, we can make money and power out of this, and the ones that said, see those people over there? They believe something different to you. Go and kill them for me.
go and kill them. Go and kill them. That's what I never
Those
really
are
understood.
scapegoats.
I always.
That's just anger redirection. That's like, I mean, that happens nowadays. The US is sort of like saying, "Oh, everyone in China is horrible."
Yeah.
And I'm not saying US people, because US
Well,
people
I
probably
mean-
don't. Most of them probably don't care.
Well, I mean,
But the Chinese government is saying, "Oh, everything that's wrong in the world is the Americans' fault."
yeah.
And all it is it's saying, "Hey, don't be angry at me. Don't be angry at me. Be angry at them over there instead." And they just pick someone random. The French do it with the English do it with the French.
Yep.
It's just pick someone else to be angry with. It's their fault. Don't be angry with me. That's just
I always thought it was ridiculous how, because obviously I was brought up very Christian. Like grandfather was a
odd.
pastor. Grandfather was God. Grandmother is a preacher to this day. Church of England school, all that nonsense. And it's funny because I'm now the least religious person that I know. And it always made me laugh where you would have like, Jesus comes along and Jesus is like, so you ignore the Old Testament completely, because that was always the argument. Like, the Old Testament is really quite nasty. Like, there's a lot of genocide, there's a lot of rape, there's a lot of slaves being,
stories, is it?
sex slaves and all this stuff, floods and genocide and all this stuff. And then they go, well, it's okay because Jesus is in the New Testament and Jesus overwrites everything in the Old Testament. But it's only when you get gentle Jesus, meek and mild, that hell comes along. Because hell doesn't exist in the Old Testament. It's only when Jesus comes along that now suddenly unbaptized children burn forever. It's only now that, children get taught, as I was taught, that my friend down the street who happens to not go to church is going to burn forever, who's 12. And I don't think it's moral to lie to children. I don't think these are moral teachings. I don't think this is,
that's teaching through complete and utter fear, isn't it? Surely teaching your child that, well, your friend doesn't believe what I believe,
and he's going to hell.
Therefore, your friend will go to hell. And do you know what that means? That means he will be set on fire forever and tortured forever.
Yes.
And as a child,
is thing going to go
person
to?
I trust teaching me this.
Yes. So then you sit there and
Therefore,
go, please go to church, because if you don't go to church, this is going to happen. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? What? That's not going to happen to me. You're insane. And it's like, no, but please, it might do. Like, you don't know. And it's like, oh, I hope. Like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But it always made me laugh that it was like, oh, well, the Old Testament is terrible, but Jesus is really nice. Jesus isn't really nice at all. Jesus was either a very, very, very deranged individual, or he believed with some conviction that the world was going to end very soon.
Why is he always white in all the pictures and all the statues?
Because we want him to be white, or Americans, I should say.
Where was he born? We assume that he was born on the year 0.
He was Bronze Age Palestine, so he was brown.
Ignoring the fact, born in
Palestine. He was born in Nazareth. Born in Nazareth. Everyone always says he was born in Bethlehem. He wasn't born in Bethlehem.
Look, he's a middle-aged white man.
Yeah, yeah. But everyone always says, he was born in Bethlehem. He wasn't.
I think it'd be more likely that at that time Jesus was crucified not for his sins, but for being a complete outcast. Because suddenly a white man appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, like it was just racism.
Preaching to everyone.
It was just racism. He was
racism.
It was racism. Like that was the reason. That was the reason. But there's just so many weird inconsistencies like that. That like no.
I believe every word written in the book.
Like the world's 8,000 years old. No, it's not. But
see, the thing about that is that's similar to, is it God, or you might as well just say it's similar to quantum effects. There's no way that you can prove that the Earth is not 8,000 years old, and God just put things here to make it look older. But there's also no way that you can prove that everything that exists just spontaneously appeared 2 seconds ago, and we all appeared 2 seconds ago, and we just have the memories of the last bits of our lives. Yep. You can't prove that either.
No. I mean, or there's a big flying spaghetti monster that's invisible and flies around everybody's house.
Who's there right now tickling you?
Yep.
You can't prove that either.
No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, and I'm not even being facetious either.
I like the giant spaghetti monster.
But I'm not even being facetious. Like that's the level of faith to believe all the inconsistencies, to go through everything. Because and the worst thing is the Bible doesn't even line up. Like if you take each of the parables, each of the four Gospels, not parables, each of the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and you read them, instead of reading them one at a time, if you read them across, so if you read them across the Gospels, none of them line up. None of them.
Like chronologically rather than...
No.
You read the first 10 pages of one, then the next, then the next, then the next, then read the next 10 pages of each one.
So you read you read verse by verse. So you read one verse, one verse. You read it across, and you learn that nothing makes sense. So Jesus,
it's a book written by hundreds of different people based on stories that are thousands of years old.
But you would think that they would cross-reference them before they put them in the same book, because on one hand,
I think they didn't have to bother. And it got to the point where it's too late to do it now.
Well, it's like in Luke, Jesus has the Last Supper, which is the meal after Passover, because obviously he's a Palestinian Jew, he's Jewish. So the Last Supper is the
King
meal,
of the Jews.
He's King of the Jews. Is the meal after the Passover, the end of the Passover, the celebration. But then in Matthew, that happens before the Passover. And it can't be both. That's a contradiction. It's either before the Passover or after the Passover. And they quite clearly say before, and the other one says after. That's a clear contradiction because it cannot be both. It cannot be both.
Well, that's what happens when you write lots of books by hundreds of different people based on hundreds of different old stories.
But it's like, okay, so people think, oh, that's insignificant, it doesn't really matter. But it does matter. Because how many of them are there?
Yeah, well, that's it.
How many of them are there? If you write a book out word by word on paper, like, you will make mistakes. You will make mistakes. It's inevitable. Even if you copy it word for word.
It'd be amazing if you didn't make a mistake.
Exactly. And that's happened hundreds and thousands of times over hundreds of years. And you believe everything that comes out. Like it's like when you think about the world and you think about the universe and you think about we're all made of stardust, which we are. We're quite literally made of stardust. Like millions and millions of galaxies. have
Since everything pretty much other than hydrogen and helium is probably made by stars, I should imagine.
yeah, everything, and 99% of the universe has been and gone by the time that we are now. And 99% of the species that have all ever lived on the Earth are all extinct.
Oh, but in terms of life of the universe, the chances are we're very, 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 very early.
Oh, yes, but what I'm saying is, of that universe, 99% of it, the stars have already exploded, gone out,
No, they haven't.
or turned into supernovas.
Most of the stars haven't been alive long enough to run out yet.
Are you sure? Lawrence Krauss, I'm pretty sure Lawrence Krauss says this in his lecture. I'll have to delete your lecture. It's in the same universe from nothing lecture. Do you remember when I talked about that? How he explains how you can actually get something from nothing. You know, the whole Big Bang, etc. Like, what was before the Big Bang? Yeah, he says it in that. So I'll have to find it for you. But the point being is, all of these things are so above us and amazing to us that they're way more impressive than a burning bush. Like, what's more impressive, you being made of stardust or a bush that was likely hallucinogenic, making you think it was talking? Like that's what's a miracle? Like, really?
I'd have to say, I mean, being made of the same stuff like an atom that came from somewhere else makes perfect sense to me. So a flaming talking bush I find much more miraculous.
Yes, but what is more amazing though, isn't it? What is more amazing? You are made of stardust, and
that's pretty cool.
And you are.
But the thing is, I can understand completely how that works.
But a burning talking bush is.
But a burning talking bush would wow me.
I suppose.
I mean, it would. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking I completely understand that all the heavier elements, were made in the stars. That's how they were made. Without them, and there are heavier elements inside me. Therefore, there's bits of star in me, and I can see, when I breathe out, stuff that's been inside of me, part of me is now going out into the air, and it might go into a plant and become part of the plant. So I can understand the bits moving between stuff. So I do. You've got bits of stars in you? Yeah, that's fine. But fuck me, look over there. That fucking bush is singing a song.
And it's on fire.
And it's on fire. Now, I probably just shit myself in excitement because that would get my attention a lot more. That would wow me. I would be, bloody hell, everyone, look at this bloody bush. Yes, and I agree. The chances are most people will look at me going, what
the hell have you been eating? Literally.
Have you been rubbing your face and eyeballs against that hallucinogenic bush again? No! What? You mean this singing bush? Do you mean George? My mate George, the singing bush? Oh, fucking hell. He's doing it again. Come on, everyone. Leave him to himself.
It's the bush isn't on fire. It's making your face burn. That's what's happened.
I'd be much more wowed by that singing bush. Because I would, my assumption would be someone's just stuck a little speaker inside it. I think there's no speaker. The bush is singing. How does this work? It's a miracle.
Okay. I can sort of see. You've sort of dead man me there. You've sort of devil's advocated.
I mean, it does amaze me that we're all made from similar stuff, and there's chances that we've all shared bits of stuff. But the singing bush. I can't see what makes it more miraculous is I can't explain to myself the singing bush, assuming it's not done with trickery. It's not done with,
or if it even happened at all, mind you.
I can't. No, but I'm saying if it happened to me, if I was outside in the garden and the bloody chrysanthemum just said, "Oi, mate, give us some water," I'd be like, "Jeez, what the hell?"
Okay. Here's another question for you then.
Certainly, chrysanthemum. Chris, how you doing, Chris?
Okay, so what's more likely if that happens? What's more likely? No, hang on.
Your brain goes prank.
Yes, what's more likely? That the laws of nature have been suspended, or that you made a mistake?
Well, I'm gonna go with I've made a mistake.
That's
No,
more
well,
likely.
if that happened to me now, the first thing I would think is prank.
Yes.
I would assume speaker or something. Okay, so we don't have speakers. Then I would assume my mate is hiding behind the wall, and he's in the bush. Or so you search the bush and nothing happening. Okay, there's no one in here. There's nothing. It's just a bush. But the bush is clearly talking to me. I'm now going to start thinking, am I all right?
Have I taken something? Have I eaten something?
Am I hallucinating? Is there something? Did I have mushroom stew last night? And that's just whoops, wrong mushrooms. And if that doesn't fit either, then I'm going to start thinking. Before I start thinking miraculous God intervention, I'm going to start thinking, am I going a bit psychotic? Am I? And so I think the first thing I do is I say, "Excuse me, mate, can you hear this bush talking?"
That'll be the first thing. It's for the reason.
Is this bush talking to you? It's not talking to me, mate. Right, okay, so it's just me. I am hearing this. Then I'm pretty much convinced that I'm going a little bit mad rather than someone's giving me a message. If you're going to give me a message, why a bush?
Well, that's the other thing. I think it was Joseph Ratzinger who put it so quite eloquently about the Immaculate Conception. He said it a little bit more sort of less diplomatically than I did. And he said, "What is more likely, that you could have pregnancy without, having sex, or that a Jewish minx would tell a lie?"
Yeah, well, Did you
Obviously,
think someone else?
obviously
Nope.
that's a little less PC, but it's the same thing. What's more likely, that the virgin birth was actually a virgin birth, or that a Jewish minx would tell a lie?
At that time, were they sort of people that would do stoning? If she had said yes, would they have stoned her to death? 'Cause
Probably.
that's a pretty damn good reason to say no.
I mean, it's in the Bible, in the New Testament. It's one of the things that Jesus says: if you are without sin, you can cast the first stone. So stoning was a
Yes.
thing at the time.
He who is without sin, yeah. As in the idea being everyone's got sin.
So
Well,
therefore
if
you
they
can't
didn't,
stone them.
Jesus, you died for nothing, didn't you?
Yeah. So stoning, yep, absolutely. Stoning would have been a thing.
So she's probably not allowed to leave her husband.
Nope.
She probably has zero rights. She can't do anything. She doesn't love her husband. She loves someone else. They have an affair. She can't admit it. She'll be stoned to death. He'll be stoned to death. She can't leave. She's trapped. She wanted what else? Absolutely no choice at all other than to try. It was God. Literally in a corner. There is nothing she can do apart from say, "I didn't." And Joseph went, "All right,
Fair enough.
fair enough.
Oh well, that must be it. Well, that's the end of my investigation.
Yep, okay. If you didn't, I believe you.
Like,
You sure it wasn't a greengrocer who you've been giving the eye to and shown a bit of ankle? No. No.
right? But that's
No,
but that's
no.
but that's the thing. That's like the thing. It's like what's more likely, that the laws of nature were suspended, or that you've made a mistake.
People's brains are basically the same as they were then. I mean, the only
Exactly
difference
the
is
same.
we've got a lot
Exactly the same.
more knowledge. But I still think. I mean, I think a husband and a wife situation where one of them, and in this situation, it's not a case of have you slept with someone else. I think you have. It's like you're actually pregnant.
Yes, you are literally.
That's almost like
pregnant.
if the man had an affair and slept with someone else, his penis turns bright red or bright blue.
Yes.
It's like, look, you clearly have slept with someone else.
Rudolph
There
the
is
red-nosed, Rudolph the red-cocked reindeer.
Exactly. There's proof. You clearly have. You are pregnant. No, you clearly have. Your penis is bright blue. And then you say,
No, I didn't.
it must have just happened.
Yeah, I woke up and it was like this. I woke up pregnant.
I in the middle of the night, something was being done to me, and I woke up like this.
Like, and they've gone, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's the bit. Even without knowledge, you're still going to have knowledge of infidelity. I mean, they obviously did. It's written about. You would still be like, yeah, really.
So what's
really?
And like here's the thing, it's like this is an entire religion that's been based on this quite important fact, or to them a fact, that this because this is Jesus' birth. This is the prophet's like birth. Like this is a son of God, so we can't question this, even though it's quite literally an impossibility. People just don't get pregnant. It's not a thing in nature. And everyone says, well, obviously it's God then. No, or it didn't happen. Like why?
I wonder if is there a chance? Because I mean, you can have hermaphrodites, people who have both sex organs.
Nope.
Is there a chance that one hermaphrodite could?
Nope. It's impossible. It's an impossibility to impregnate yourself. Impossibility. Doesn't happen.
Why?
The cells reject it.
Would they?
Yep.
Why would you say it only has to happen once?
Doesn't happen. Impossibility. Never happened. There is no evidence of it happening anywhere.
Well, there is. There's a story about this guy I know,
and it doesn't happen and it doesn't happen in any other species as well. It doesn't happen in any other species. It is. I wonder... And if it could, we would have found it by now. We would have found it.
Well, see, if the chance is really, really it's tiny, 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 and it's only happened once in the history of all species, that is a possibility.
Unless you've tried it in a lab with the same sperm and the same eggs of a certain hermaphrodite, and it just doesn't happen. And you've tried them with pigs, you've tried them with sheep, you've tried them with.
But you didn't try the one hermaphrodite that happened to have the mutation to make it work.
Yes, I suppose. But come on now. Their
genes were mutated, and it could work for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I could believe that more than I could believe God fucked me.
Well, yes, but does Mary also have a penis, or is Mary? Is Mary a Marty?
Well, they might not know if half of if they're all internal. I mean, nature. We are who we are through mutations, and I bet there was more mutations in the past.
I don't know.
Almost anything weird like that could be true. I mean, which do you find easier to believe? That this one person was hermaphrodite and had 1 in a billion trillion, some number that's so large, mutation that she could actually impregnate themselves, or mystical sky fairy came down and impregnated her. Which would you be more likely to believe?
Obviously the first one. But at the same time, that child would be
they didn't know about stuff like genes and stuff.
And they would be so ungodly inbred that they wouldn't be able to function.
Very, very unlikely they'd be able to do anything. Yes, I should imagine they would have died very young.
Yes, because their entire genetic DNA is their own person.
They'd effectively sort of be a clone.
Almost, yeah. It would be horrific. It would be utterly horrific. Like, they probably would have died in childbirth, more than likely. Or been a stillborn.
Even then, and they weren't, and they came to term, and they gave birth, and they lived, and the baby grew up to be 30-odd years old. I still find that more believable.
Yes, than Sky Fairy fucked me.
Sky Fairy did my wife. But what I find even easier to believe, and by quite a large margin, is old Hamish the greengrocer took a little bit of nookie with someone's wife, and she just denied it.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. And being born in Nazareth and not being born in Bethlehem, which he obviously was. Because not only is he Jesus of Nazareth, not Jesus of Bethlehem, but the story to get him to Bethlehem is so blatantly fabricated that it's laughable. Like the whole, Herod's doing a census, so you have to go to...
That makes me think that what it was is they were playing Minecraft on someone's server, and someone said, "Were you born in Bethlehem?" "Yeah." "The logs don't show you were born in Bethlehem." "Well, actually, what happened is there was a donkey. Well, the logs don't show a donkey." "Oh, no, it wasn't a donkey. There was a star and some wise." "Well, the logs don't show." No, it was King Herod, and well, the logs don't. No, it wasn't Nazareth.
Yes, but God's removed the logs. God's changed the logs. God has changed the logs, so therefore it wouldn't show it. That's the solution to that. God changed the logs. You wouldn't know.
Well, the Bible is the log, isn't it? And it's just like, well, just change it.
Yeah.
And it's not. God didn't change it.
It's like
people who wanted more control changed it.
the census never happened, and also wouldn't make sense. You have to go to the year. You have to go to the birthplace of your family's name. If it's a census, you stay where you are. That's the whole point of the census, to know where people live now. Why would you
census time? Everyone move.
Why would you need to go? Right? Like, why would you need to go anywhere? So, and there's no historical evidence of it ever happening.
I suppose there would be the census is, it would be too hard for people to go and ask everyone, so they stay in one place and everyone comes to them and says, I live back in Nazareth. I live over in Hamish Town.
But Hamish Town, that's where Mary lived.
That's where Mary lived.
But they have so much, like, they needed Jesus to be born because he was the house of David, to be born in Bethlehem. They needed him to be born in. So the whole thing's just fabricated. The whole thing's just fabricated. He never goes to Bethlehem. He's never born in Bethlehem. He's born in Nazareth. He lives in Nazareth. He works as a carpenter in Nazareth. He is Jesus of Nazareth. Like, I mean, there's no ambiguity. There's no ambiguity. And even in the Gospels, they also don't agree on when he went, how he was born, was he in a stable, was he not in a stable?
I mean, it's always been called Jesus of Nazareth, hasn't it?
He's always been called Jesus of Nazareth. And no one's put two and two together and gone, ooh, I wonder why. Like,
because that's where he comes from. That's what you call people.
He's come from Nazareth because he was born in Nazareth, and that's what happened. You were called.
That's one of the ways. It's one of the way people get names. They get names from
where they were born, where they lived, where they raised,
where they're born.
Yeah,
or jobs.
Like
jobs is the most common one, but also where you live and stuff.
It's just madness, isn't it? It's just madness.
All mad.
When you really think about it, and you just think, like, this is something that gives meaning to millions upon hundreds of millions of people around the world, and it's all just crazy. It's like the funniest thing when someone said that the easiest way to tell that Islam is a man-made religion is when you die. If you're a man, you get 72 virgins, but if you're the woman, you get your husband back.
Yeah, but then, do you want 72 virgins?
We get 72 mother-in-laws as well. They don't tell you that bit.
Yeah, it's 72 virgins, and that's what I always say when someone says that. It's like, yeah, but I mean, I've seen Susan Boyle.
Well, yeah, they're virgins for a reason. They're virgins for a reason. Like,
oh God, imagine having 72 wives. Oh my God.
You'd get no peace, would you?
Oh,
no peace. Have you taken the rubbish out? Have you put the bins out? Did you put them in the recycling? No, you didn't. Go and take it out. Go and take it out. Put the tin in the red bin. They're not in the red bin.
And then
why is there cardboard in the red bin?
And then she's like, I'm going out tonight with my friend.
Okay.
Like, okay, have a nice time. And you think, oh, I've got a couple of hours to myself. And then along comes wife number 2. So what's the chance of all 72 of you going out for a night together, eh? How about that? Why don't you all go out for a night? Go on. Go on, all of you. Go and have a lovely time.
You'll have a great time. Change the locks.
And then 71 of them go, and one says, oh, I'm going to stay home. I don't feel too well. You're like,
right, you're going to this room. Get in this room. You're in the cellar. Fritzl, get in there.
Just want 2 hours. Just 2 hours to myself.
Never ends, would it? Never ends.
And then from downstairs in the cellar, you're taking the rubbish out. Sure. Not feeling very well. Can I have a cup of tea? Oh, look. God's sake, if you were my wife, I'd say, yes, I love you. Of course you can have a cup of tea. But you're not. You're one of these 72 virgins I had forced upon me. I don't even care about you. Get your own cup of tea. I don't care if you're sick.
Like, is this actually paradise? Or is this hell?
It's not paradise. That's hell. Oh. I think with 72, any people you're going to be stuck with.
72 of them. 72. God. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'd have the energy for all of them.
No brains.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's virgin men who have gone. That's what sounds good to me. That's what sounds good.
If you look at it as 72, beautiful, and they're stunning, the most amazing beautiful women you've ever seen, and they all are like, oh, maybe they don't even like you. God, they all hate you. Oh, you fucking bastard. There's 72 of them. They all hate you. But they're not. They're beautiful. They're like goddesses, and they all worship you. They love you so much, and it's all about the beautiful sex you're going to have forever. 72.
Oh,
By the time I got old enough and died, it's going to be like, well, I can't do this.
no,
I can't do this.
I've no chance. I've no chance. I need to have a nap. Are you kidding?
I died at somewhere. Let's say I died at 70. No, you've blown yourself up. So I blew myself up now. I've died at 46. I was thinking, I'll tell you what, at a push, I'll try 2, but come on.
Come on, ladies. Let's just pace ourselves here, right? Let's just pace ourselves. You've no chance.
What?
It's someone who obviously doesn't have life experience.
Come and be naughty with me. Oh my God, which number are you? 13.
Right?
Last 2 weeks ago, I did it with 27. Give me a couple. I can't be bothered.
Oh, like it's literally someone with no life experience who thinks what sounds good. He thinks that's what sounds good.
Well, they didn't make it up, did they? It's made up to appeal to them. Oh no, thank you.
Oh,
Saying that, see, what I would rather be the other way around. I mean, if I died now, if my wife died and I died, I'd like to get my wife back.
Exactly.
I would much rather. I'll tell you what, if my wife died and I died, I'd much rather get my wife back than 72 virgins who I don't know or give a shit about.
Like, and who constantly want your attention. Oh, Infernal.
You.
Oh, Infernal. I love you. Infernal.
Oh, shut up. Get it yourself. What do you want? You're only after something. All of you. You're only after one thing. You're only after 72 things.
You don't love me for me. You don't. You know when you want to have a conversation.
They've been forced upon you. Do they love you? As I said, they might hate you.
I don't know. They might hate you. How do you know?
You get 72 virgins, but they're all spiteful, backstabbing, horrible bitches.
Oh, no. No.
And your life at home is just literal hell as they're all continuously having a go at you.
It would be as well. God. Oh, you're not ambitious enough. What are you doing? Why? You're on the computer again. Get off the computer.
And you can't touch them. It's back to the sex thing. They're all beautiful goddesses. And oh my God. I can perform. You're that beautiful. I could do all 72 of you. You are that beautiful, and it would work. And they're all like, "Yeah, we're virgins for a reason."
Yeah, we're actually abstinent.
What?
We actually don't want to. What?
So I'm surrounded by 72 of you,
and I can
me with these urges,
and I physically have the power to do it.
And for some reason, I could perform with all of you, but that's why you're virgins, because you don't actually do it. It's like, so this isn't good either.
No, it's just it's not thought out at all. This is it?
No, I'm going for the one. I die and I get my wife back.
Yep,
I'm having that one. That's much better.
That's the way to do it. That is definitely the way to do it.
Yeah. When you die, you're a man or a woman. If I say man, do I have to put up with those bloody women? If I say woman, can I get my wife back? I mean, husband.
Husband, yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's my husband. Don't worry about that. He looks a bit like a girl. I know it's fine. But,
she's from Nazareth.
He's very feminine. He's very feminine.
She's a hermaphrodite. She's from Nazareth. You don't know. You just can't see it.
She's one in a Googleplex self-procreating hermaphrodite who I love dearly. Can I have her back, please?
Oh, God. Jesus. Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Well, good stories.
They are.
They're not even good stories.
No, they're not. Some of the parables are ridiculous.
Yeah, they're not even good parables. They're not going to teach you. For those, you should look. I mean, further east.
The East actually they actually have some decent life lessons.
Where it starts with the wisdom of, this is just a story to teach you something. He goes, look, that's wise already.
Yes, it's self-aware.
The fact that you've said that is already showing wisdom.
It's already self-aware, and then you get
So why did the strange man do the strange thing, and then the animals did this, and then it's just a story to teach you something. It's just a thought experiment. Oh, I see. Okay, so I don't know. Not because the burning bush impregnated the elephant, and the elephant, all the animals got onto the boat, and only one man was allowed. What? No, it's true. It's not a story to teach you something. This is true.
It's just
All the
crazy.
animals in the world got on one boat. Yep,
All of them.
all of them.
All of them. All of them
And
fit
it's
on this
not,
boat.
and it's not two of each, is it? I think it says all the unclean you shall take seven, and all the clean you shall take
That's
five,
the
or
other
something.
thing. It's never. No,
Or
it's not
maybe the
two of
wrong
them.
way around.
It's not two of
So,
them.
so five or seven. So let's say six. Six of every type of animal alive at the time
Yep. Yep. All
on
of them.
one boat.
All of them.
Now we could do that now easily. You just genetic sequence and you store the genetic sequence digitally. You could probably store every animal on one flash drive. I don't think they had flash drives or genetic sequencing back then, though.
Ah, but what if God had given them to Noah?
Well, now we're getting into the subject that maybe it is just a sort of a euphemism, or it wasn't. It wasn't an actual boat.
Maybe
It was.
the flash drive
It
was
wasn't.
shaped like a boat.
Maybe it was aliens,
Maybe it was
or
aliens.
or lost technology, and they just said, "Okay, we will go around and gene sequence all the animals, and we will keep a record of them all, and we'll store that in our ark." And by ark, we don't mean boat, like the thing in the seed bank. They
Yep.
just meant somewhere, and we'll call that the ark.
And the flood is, with no evidence of a flood, was actually just a short shower.
I think the flood is quite believable, considering every single country and every single culture seems to have the flood story. They all completely disagree when it was.
the flood is believable in the sense that volcanoes are believable. Natural disasters happened.
What wasn't it, the flood with the end of the Younger Dryas? Or
Yes,
something?
yes, and that's what put fish in the mountains as fossils, which is why when we found them, the Christian fundamentals went absolutely nuts, going, "It's proving that the flood was real." And I was like, "Well, the flood we never denied the flood was real. We denied
And like
that-
North America, where you've got those huge, massive erosion and floodplain damage,
Yes,
which was done by flash floods. And they go, look, all over the world, there is proof of this flood, which was like 12,000 years ago or something.
yes, exactly.
So I think the flood did happen because
absolutely.
Everyone talks about it.
There's plenty of evidence.
But like any story, I think there's probably quite a bit about it that's not true.
Someone
You know,
said
yeah.
someone did this exact argument in a debate, and they said, "Well, what about dragons then? Every culture has dragons. Does that mean
One of
dragons
the
are
oldest words, yeah.
real? Every culture has dragons. Does that mean dragons are real? China has dragons. We
Yeah.
have dragons. Europe has
See,
dragons. They're
I'm
European,
not
like-
surprised. I'm not surprised at all that everyone's got dragons, because I mean, people dig in the ground, people live in the caves, people dig up a fossil of something and go, "Fuck me, look at this." You dig up a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull.
What the fuck
What
is
on-
this?
That is, as far as I'm concerned, sorry, that's a dragon. I'm sorry, that is a fucking dragon. Look at it. Its skull is massive. Imagine what animal this came from. You reconstruct it in your head or with drawings or whatever, and everyone has dragons because everyone's found dinosaur bones. That would make sense to me.
That would make sense. That would make sense. That would make sense. But it's the same sort of thing, though, isn't it? It's a universal human experience. It seems it's like a universal human story of dragons.
Yeah, it's odd.
Every culture has
Yeah.
them. It's very strange. Every culture has them,
And they're very important.
and they're very
Usually
different
they're
as
very
well.
important.
They're very
And they're
different.
very different. Yeah, the Chinese have the very long, thin, flying ones that the emperors are descended from. They're like, the Chinese ones are like gods as well. And you've
And
got
they-
the big, fatter European ones,
With-
which are
yeah.
usually are bad, and they're usually killed by people.
Yes, yes. And then you have obviously Saint George and the horse and everything that comes with that, and the stories of slaying the dragons that you always want to slay the dragon because the dragon is evil. And
That's the Western. Western dragons are evil. The Eastern dragons tend to be more a friend of humanity.
it's very strange, isn't
Weird.
it? It's very
Yeah,
strange.
I like myth stories. They're interesting.
It's funny as well because when you think about history and fossils and things, there was this I can't remember what he's called, what's he called? The professor. I don't know what he's called. Um,
What did he do?
but he talks about for ages this like pre-human, also human civilization. So basically, before humans as we know it, there was a different type of human that lived about 12,000 to 18,000 years ago.
Oh, there's definitely Neanderthals. That's one type already.
But before that, there was intelligent humans. Intelligent humans.
Well, Göbekli Tepe is what's that?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm about to
12,000
talk about. That's exactly what I'm about to talk about.
They found more places in Turkey which are older than
Yes.
Göbekli Tepe.
Yes. And then for ages, everyone said there was, obviously this is just nonsense, you know, and this professor, I can't remember his name, I'll have to find his name.
And then they found somewhere.
And
Yes,
then, and then because he was talking about this like extinction event that must have happened to a meteor. It must have been a meteor or something that would have, you know, wiped out this human species, because they've got these like canoes that are like predate any civilization that we know of. So there's intelligent life that travelled. They travelled in these canoes, or they crossed the water and they went to these different places. And then they find in Greenland, they find this ice that is compacted by certain forces, and they carbon date it, and it's exactly the same time, about 18 to 20,000 years ago, that this extinction event happened, and it's the shape, and it's exactly like a meteorite would have been. So, and that's the extinction event, and that's the evidence that there was this human life before, as we know it now, that existed, that was completely wiped out.
I'm not sure if they were flying around in magic stone vehicles or anything weird like that.
Oh, no, they wouldn't have been. They wouldn't have been. But it does make you wonder.
Maybe they'd got beyond hunting, and they were farmers, and they had civilization and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And then maybe even writing.
And it makes you wonder, well, what would we be like now if we had those extra 20,000 years? Where would we be?
Pretty insane, I should imagine. Look what we had fire, and we did nothing with it for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And then suddenly there was pottery, and it was very slow. And then there's a bit of metalworking, it was very slow. And it's all very, very slow. And then 200 years ago,
everything happens. Industrial revolution happens.
Just insanity.
We create the steam engine.
In 300 years, people have gone from just like flopping around the place and to sending things to drive around on Mars and land on the moon, and just the stuff we're using right now, computers and phones. Jesus, I mean, the phone
it's biblical,
compared to the
isn't it?
computers I had when. Shut up. Yeah, they took up 3 rooms, and they're powered by steam. I mean, the phone is just insanity.
Yeah.
The
Had a pull-out aerial.
Showed me this.
I had a pull-out aerial, and they were the size of like a cube. Like,
it's unbelievable what it can do. If you showed me that when I was a kid, well, I suppose I probably wouldn't. Maybe a teenager. When I'm definitely, I don't know, 9, 10, 8, something. When I'm old enough to appreciate how it's working, I'd just be, bloody hell, this is amazing.
Yeah, revolutionary.
It's phenomenal.
The internet.
I mean, imagine
the internet, the World Wide Web.
50 years ago.
You'll be able to send a message to someone on the other side of the planet in an instant. In an instant.
I can remember, even now, I can remember just like using the modem to dial in, getting onto the old bulletin board systems when the internet.
Do you remember how images
by that.
would load by pixel by pixel line?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
and you'd always hope. You'd always hope that the bulletin board before the web.
Yep.
I was just stunned by that. That was just, this is amazing. I can connect to things. I mean, you wouldn't consider really downloading anything. Like, oh my God, no.
Oh no, you've no chance. What would you? No, you
You would
crazy?
just,
You crazy?
you would just read information.
Yeah, of course, of course.
What? And type messages. That's about all you do.
I think my first PC was Windows 95. And I think it was a giant cube. It was a giant cube, and it had a screen on it that was removable that would dim the screen, so it wouldn't like blind you. And the speakers,
Burn your eyes out.
yeah, and those speakers were like those really old. Like if I showed you a picture of the speakers now, you would be like, "Oh my God, them." Those are those really old.
Just saying that, I've already got the picture of those standard black speakers that are paired together with the one wire that plugs into the back of the computer.
That's the one. Yeah. And you think, what if we had 20,000 more years?
My first computer didn't have speakers because you had to plug it into the TV to get it to work.
Oh, that's an interesting. I've not heard that one. That's an interesting one.
Oh, it's a Spectrum, ZX Spectrum.
God, we think
Well, technically, it was my brother's computer, but he would let me play on it.
But 20,000 years from now.
Oh, he would be doing all sorts of weird stuff.
Are
Yeah,
we on another planet? Have we discovered what's the next breakthrough going to be? Hydrogen
in 20,000 years, even using today's technology, we could populate the galaxy.
Yeah.
Actually, it would just take ages.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. Let me rephrase that. In 20,000 years, there's no way we could populate the galaxy, but we could certainly do our solar system, and we could start the galaxy.
Yes.
We've got the technology to fly through space. We've got radiation shielding. We've got all of that stuff.
People will be born in space.
It would be
People will be
pretty
born
awful.
on other planets.
It'd be pretty awful, and it'd be bloody hard.
Well, as humans, it's what we seem to thrive on.
I don't think people would enjoy it. I mean, you want a bit more technology. I mean, fusion would be wonderful for a start. If you want to start colonizing space just for propulsion, just for power, you want fusion. If we get that sorted, then would definitely be even better. Without that, though, it's a lot harder.
I think scientists in Manchester and California have almost breaking through fusion as well.
Well,
they can ignite it for like a millisecond. But they have
as the
ignition.
saying goes, which they've been saying ever since the beginning of fusion. Domestic fusion is 10 years away. They've been saying that for 30, 40 years.
Yeah, it's a sort of in perpetuity 10 years.
Are they getting better at it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Will it happen? Don't know. It might turn out to not be feasible.
Yeah, it might be one of those things that we just can't actually do. I mean,
I hope for it. I mean, anti-gravity would be amazing. But
anti-gravity is a thing, though. Anti-gravity is a thing. You use centrifugal force. You go into space.
Anti-gravity. That's not anti-gravity.
Well, it's what keeps us on the Earth, apart from the big fact that it's a giant mass.
What keeps us on the Earth is literally the opposite of anti-gravity.
Sorry, that's
is gravity.
No. Sorry, yes. Sorry. I know what I wanted to say in my head, but that's not what I meant. No, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say.
I don't. What are you trying to say?
So, you're talking about anti-gravity. I'm talking about putting gravity where there is no gravity.
As in nullifying gravity. There's gravity everywhere. Gravity doesn't die off. It stretches forever.
No, what I'm saying is if you're on a space station, you can make it seem like there is gravity. And make everyone walk on the same plane, sort of thing.
Oh, well, yes. Then yeah, all you're doing... That's gravity through acceleration.
Yes.
Throwing the person out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because as Einstein says, gravity is indistinguishable from acceleration.
Yes. So I wasn't saying anti-gravity, I was saying the creation of gravity.
It's not anti-gravity.
No. Anti-gravity would be where there is gravity, making it go away.
Actually cancelling out gravity.
But again,
that'd be pretty amazing.
That's one of those laws of nature suspended things. And the funny thing is, when something like that happens, it's usually...
think you have to suspend a law of nature, even if you could just do something like move the gravity.
Well, it's like you've got things like electromagnets, haven't you? Electromagnets are usually like, they're like a clever way of like making it
So you can
look
manipulate
like.
you can manipulate a magnetic field. Now, instead of interacting with a magnetic field, if you could interact with the gravity field, I mean that's again is not anti-gravity. That would be moving gravity. So you could take all the gravity that surrounded you and push it off to the side, maybe. So you got lighter, and anything next to you got heavier. You're not anti-gravity, but you could be floating. You'd be like, "Well, look at me, I'm floating because I'm pushing all the gravity over there."
I'm floating away.
But if you had something to actually cancel out gravity, I don't know what that would lead to. Probably hundreds of things that you can't even consider.
And
But fusion would be cool.
Fusion's got to be the next breakthrough, hasn't it? Like the next
That would be
major
fantastic.
breakthrough.
But
Like,
again, I think would they? I think it's too popular that they would hide it. Like all that stuff about hydrogen engines. You always see these people who have made them, and people, loads of people say, yeah, they work. Well, how come we don't use them?
because they don't work.
Well, could it be something that I think it's more likely to be something to do with rather large oil companies and stuff who buy out patents? Just say, oh well, you've patented something that will make our oil industry, slowly disappear. I'll buy that and not release it.
True, you could do that.
Big business, big money.
You could do that, and then we'll find out 40 years from now that we've been held back.
I find it very, very, very easy to believe.
I kind of agree, to be honest.
Yeah, I find that too easy to believe.
And
I'm not going to believe in perpetual motion, but certainly something like a hydrogen engine. I mean, a hydrogen engine is completely feasible.
Especially when you think about the leaps and bounds we've made. I mean, it's been exponential, really, hasn't it? Absolutely exponential. Yeah. So the only logical route is up. And it's okay, well, how do we keep this level of growth? And it's going to be something huge like that. It's just going to be.
Well, yeah, and there's also there'll be a point where maybe there isn't anything else to learn, and it's kind of this is it.
There'll be the next plateau. Everything. There'll be the next plateau, and then
literally nothing left to learn. You've learned everything, and it's like, well, this is all the knowledge that is possible. There is nothing else to learn. This is what you've got. Do with it what you can. But even then, people will still be going, oh, but what about if we did something slightly differently and we did and they'll still be inventing new stuff.
Aren't we great humans?
Well, a bunch of bastards, but we've done some pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah. Bunch of bastards, bunch of liars, bunch of religious cultists.
I suppose it's like what Ollivander says about Voldemort.
What does he say about Voldemort?
He says very, very. What did he say? Something like, he was very impressive, or very powerful, or very great. He said, very evil, but very impressive. So that sort of sums up people.
Yeah.
God, some people are completely evil, but doesn't stop the fact they've done some amazing things.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Humanity is Voldemort. There we go.
Humanity is Voldemort. And that's the Christmas message that we will leave you with.
Christmas message.
Humanity is Voldemort. My goodness. God. Oh, well. God, we've been talking for ages, haven't we? Fuck me.
Longer than we normally record for, because it's 2:15.
I know. Oh,
I know we started half an hour later than normal as well. So it's about the normal time.
That is true. And this is all going to go up completely unedited, so I hope you enjoy listening to it forever.
Oh my! So I don't think I could listen to it again.
No.
What a random bunch of weird randomness.
Christmas films, Christmas food, YouTube, sort of a year in review, how we've dealt with it, religion,
just
drinks,
too much randomness,
traveling, yeah. But it's also a Christmas chat. It's a Christmas chill, Christmas chat. This is what it is.
Yeah, it's nice to just chill out.
Sometimes you don't need like a set sort of topic list. Sometimes you can just have a chat.
While we've been having a chat, I have been filling up my blood altar.
Oh my god, have you really?
Oh, I'm trying to get some of these things to work. It's just
In
so
Minecraft,
hard.
we should say there is a
Oh
caveat
yeah.
with that. He's obviously not murdering something at this very moment.
No, just trying to get this blood altar thing working properly. I've got some of it going all right. It's just some of it's so confusing.
God. Well, that's also a nice Christmas
On that
message.
note,
The blood altar. Thank you all for listening. We will see you all.
while I fill up my blood altar, let me tell you that humanity is Voldemort. Too long, don't read.
If you want to give us some actual topics for next podcast, then please do.
Otherwise, yeah, you can, and we'll stick to them for about 5 minutes before we get completely sidetracked.
But if you actually enjoy this kind of podcast, which is just
Then you're
rambling
crazy.
inane nonsense, not only are you crazy, but also I like you. So let us know in the comments. Have a good Christmas, or if it's past Christmas,
Happy Christmas.
Hope you enjoyed Christmas. Have a good New Year, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.